Brandon,
OMG,
sh-
Maggie.
shit has hit the motherfucking fan.
That's like the understatement of 2024.
I didn't have the villa catching on fire for my 2024 bingo card.
No, and like, here's the thing. I expected the recoupling to have some drama.
Oh yeah.
I didn't expect
Whew.
every round, pretty much.
Basically,
Minus the first two, but we'll get into it because it was just like predictable.
reality really sunk in when we had four single girls
Yes, the
at
four
the end of the
OGs.
recoupling.
But you
Four
know what?
single.
I want to provide a space of solace and hopefulness in the beginning of this because Ariana was
I'm
on
listening.
Aftersun. She said there's going to be a bloodbath. People are going to go home. But she said America's vote was going to determine it.
This is
So,
confusing because in the past, America has voted for couples. Like, are we just
yeah,
gonna
but now
vote for
nobody likes
singles?
the couple.
I
That's
mean, I get it.
if we're going based off the
There's a bunch of
internet.
randoms in the couples.
I
Honestly,
know. If we're
the
going
only
by the
couple we know
internet,
is Nicole and Kendall.
yeah, so they're good, but
It's gonna be
as
like,
far as
which people,
no, that's
period,
what
do
I'm
you like
thinking
the
of. Like,
most?
who do you want to stay in the villa? Top four girls, top four guys, or something like that.
It's insane, and I am here for every fucking minute of it.
No, I am too. And it was just, it really, I think like the Janae's turn, we'll get into it, but with Janae's turn, that set a precedence of how it's gonna go. Because I was
It
not
really
expecting
did.
that.
I was like, oh my gosh, she's mad. I was like,
Big
oh
man.
shit.
And I was
Can you
like,
pitch Janae off?
he did. He
Ah.
shook me though. I didn't, I didn't, yeah. We'll get into that. But before that, hey y'all, what's up?
Welcome back to the shade of it all.
Yes, I'm Brandon.
I'm Magdala,
And we're gonna be talking about Love Island USA season 6, episodes 21, 22, and 23.
which is
Um,
Aftersun.
after Sun, yeah. So, we'll
Hmm.
be touching on it, but it's not that big of a deal. Um, this, I was thinking about the other day how we were like, we're gonna go over Love Island USA. Like, we'll see. Like, we'll try to do 2 episodes a week, but like, if it's good, now I'm like, I want to do an episode every day. It's so good.
Literally, there's so much to talk about, Brandon. We could spend like over an hour on each episode. There's so much, well, okay, 21 I felt like was kind of a waste of time. I was like, what is this
Oh
nonsense
yeah, I was about
game
to
where
say
they're
because I was
making
like,
me want to turn my TV off?
no, 21. I like forgot. I was like, what happened 21? I know the ending was good, but
But
throughout,
some of them are good enough that we could just spend 2 hours just
yes,
breaking down everything, every scene, every gesture, every word,
everything. And our episodes
everything,
just
all
keep
of it.
getting longer and longer. So we'll see how this one goes.
Hmm.
It'll definitely be something.
It will be. We're gonna start with episode 21. But of course, if you want to skip ahead, use the chapters. I work real hard on those.
Maggie
Click the
does.
buttons, look at the sections. Just skip to whichever part you really want to hear.
But
And if the
obviously,
chapters
you
are
want to listen
confusing,
to
give
us
us
all.
feedback. Of course.
You want to listen every second. But with that being said, let's start with episode 21. Let's dive in. Let's get into
Hmm.
this. This is after that really weird, very game where they were just making out with everyone, that orgy game.
Yeah, it was called Raunchy Roulette or something like that. Raunchy Races. Raunchy
Raunchy
Races.
races. That was a lot.
A lot.
Um, but this is the aftermath, and Kendall and
Hmm.
Cordell are celebrating. And Kendall keeps
Hmm.
saying Zaya brought out a new side of Cordell. And Cordell says he
Hmm.
thinks he's still thinking about Serena and still has her ring on. And this is where I'm like, oh, so you're evil. Like, what? What do you mean you
Yeah.
have her ring on?
He's like, I'm literally thinking about Serena.
He's like, I literally have her ring on right
Um,
now. I'm like, no, you don't. Why? What?
yeah, he basically is like, it's faster than it was with Serena. He's hype. He's excited with her. It isn't over. He's not overthinking. He's just being himself. They click very well. and Kendall is saying that he hasn't seen this side of Cordell. And so Cordell is on cloud nine, which is fine. You know, you found this girl who's giving you a lot of attention. That's cute. But
Mm-hmm.
you're wearing Serena's ring, right? So you should be respectful of Serena as well.
You would think, but alas, no. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't with the whole this is a new side of Cordell. Being like overly like physical, like, okay. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I thought your connection with Serena was deeper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kendall acts like he's never seen Cordell happy, as if Cordell has been miserable in the villa by himself. And I don't think
Right.
that's true. Okay, yeah, you see him buddied and like kind of like cozied up with this girl a lot more, but that's really all it is. And just because a girl doesn't cozy up with you doesn't mean she doesn't like you. Like Kendall, be so for real. Kendall is a shit stirrer. They tried to say Liv stirs the pot. I feel like Kendall stirs the pot the most. Like he talks so damn much.
No,
Worry about your own relationship, Kendall.
Kendall's the worst. He's like the annoying pot stirrer,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Liv is for the greater good. Like she has a purpose.
Right. Right. Kendall will just say shit and he doesn't care like who hears it, whatever. And then when you call him out, he doubles down. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's like, oh,
Like,
my
get out of
bad.
my face.
Shut up.
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm.
What was it? Gia was telling me that he only either smiles or talks with his bottom teeth.
Oh,
And I was
you know, these episodes, I noticed a lot about some of these men and their faces and their clothes that I will highlight.
all
But
right.
let's keep teeth in mind because I don't know if you saw Brandon.
Who?
I will get there. This is
All
just a
right.
preview.
All right.
But it was pretty gold to me, so much so I want to make a meme of it. But let's keep going. At this point in time, Serena and Leah are chatting. They're worrying about what's happening in the casa. Like, are
Mm-hmm.
they like what are they doing at Casa if they won the Raunchy races? And Leah's like thinking the same thing about Miguel. She's like, he's probably going crazy, which is right.
Oh
I feel
yeah.
like Leah had the most
Sh-
not realistic, but she like Miguel
She was
kind of
self-aware. She was she knew what was happening. She was like,
yeah.
it's fine. I get it.
Miguel and
But
I
Leah's
actually kind of
toxic.
appreciate. Oh
So
yeah. I appreciate that about Miguel is he is upfront. Like you know he's a flirt. You know he just wants to kind of like be physical with people and be intimate. He's not hard to read in that way. You know, the other girls were a little surprised with what they saw, but Miguel's actions were kind of forthcoming, you know.
they were. And like it was funny though, because Serena was freaking out about Cordell and she's like, I just know he was kissed in the shortest person at the Casa Amor. Ain't nobody shorter than him. And I'm
Yeah,
like, and
yeah.
that's true.
It's true.
You're right.
Yep.
But Sierra and
Um,
Miguel are getting close. They're cuddling in
mhm.
bed, fully
Mhm.
clothed under the covers.
Mhm.
And I was like, that just seems uncomfortable. But they do end up making out. And like it seems, I don't know. They have chemistry, I guess. They're both hot. So
Yeah, I mean, he's actively like not necessarily pursuing her, but talking her up. He's like, "You're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're making my eyes turn." Miguel is a sweet talker.
he
Does it
is.
mean something? We don't know. But he is definitely talking you up. Does it mean he
Yeah.
wants to be exclusive or something? We're not sure.
Probably not. But it doesn't mean he doesn't mean he's attractive.
Right. I was like, Sierra, you should probably ask that man some more questions.
Right? I feel like she honestly, she kind of gives me the vibe of just like, I'm here to like just chill. And like, because she doesn't really give too much. She doesn't really cross any boundaries really, or like try to be messy. She's just kind of
Yeah.
like hot. And then the guys are like, oh my God, Sierra. And she's like, hey. And I'm like, all
Yeah,
right.
I actually feel like we didn't get any depth from any of the Villa girls. It was more so like, yeah, you're cute. And I mean, except for Daniela talking about like her family and how her mom
Yeah.
died. She was the only one we really heard anything about. The other Villa girls don't really talk, they don't show them talking about themselves much. It's just like, oh yeah, you're cute. Ooh, I wanted to kiss you. Yeah, I kind of want to chat with you. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know,
And then Daya
just
just gave like the siren that was sent,
oh
which not
yeah.
to shame, but like, I mean, she came in like, oh yeah, you deserve better and I like you. And do you like CarMax? And da da da. Da. Like, it was very much like the temptress, which, pop
Yeah.
off, it's what
Yeah.
Casa Amor is
is
for.
for.
So,
I don't blame any of the girls for their involvement because
no,
they were woefully unprepared. Those who do
no.
go to the villa are very unprepared to enter the villa.
There's one I felt bad for in particular.
I think I low key felt bad for all of them, but we'll get to
They
it.
just didn't look. The OGs, they held it down.
They
And
sure did.
I love them for it.
Uh,
But
um,
Rob talks to clearance Sydney Sweeney. And I will
mm-hmm.
say she kind of won me over a little bit in this. Because they were like talking, she's like, I'm intimidated by you. Like you're like quiet and like stuff, and like that's intimidating. And he's like, is it really? I see a beetle. And then he just like grabs a bug and she's like, no, that's like weird. And then she's like, and your overalls, like, babe, they gotta go. I'm like,
He
okay, that's
didn't
kind
wear
of
them. I
funny.
don't think I saw him wearing them in Casa.
He
Yeah, I
didn't.
mean the conversation was like, oh, okay, we'll see. I really didn't want anyone to talk to Sydney, so I was a little scared. I was like, please don't bring this girl back to the
I
villa.
know.
Just for context, a couple episodes we broke down when she was on Aftersun and she was really annoying. So like I don't want to see her go back to the
She
villa.
was. It's interesting too, because she was like one of the most outspoken in Aftersun, but when it came to actually Casa Amor, it was kind of like
Yeah. She's
insignificant.
actually in these scenes, she's not as annoying as she was.
She was more chill. I feel like she was putting
Yeah.
on before, and now she's
Yeah.
like more herself. And I'm like, okay, I can get behind this.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Did you notice when he was like trying to like ask about family? It was just like weird. He was like, "What's your family structure?" Like it was like random and like
Oh, really?
aggressive
To
how he
Sydney, he
said it
asked her?
to Sydney, and she
I didn't write it.
he was like, "What's your family structure?" And it's just like, "Whoa, okay,
Okay, Rob,
all
what are we
right, Rob.
doing here?
Who knows?" Day and Cordell continue to vibe. This is
Mm-hmm.
where I got a little petty and I noted that she was about 8 trends late in her eyebrow game. She's doing that thing where it's fully up, which is fine. A couple years ago, it's not anymore. But she's pretty though, so I won't knock her too much.
She is pretty.
He's shocked he's feeling her so much in 2 days. And I'm like, yeah, because y'all are just making out. Like, of course you are. Like, it's like lust,
Yeah.
which, whatever. But JaNa and Jacoby chat and reminisce on their kiss in the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks if they can sleep in the same bed. And I kind of like them together.
I actually do. I kind of wish Janae would have given Jacoby a little more time. Granted, she did have a really good connection with Kenny, so it makes sense. And then as for Dea and Cordell, yeah, they both seem like they're on the same page. Like Cordell's basically like, I like Serena, but I like you. And she's like, I could see myself dating him like in the future. So yeah, I feel like that was just kind of my general read on both of them.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's something there in both of those cases. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of how much the other person is into it, you know?
exactly.
But it's
Exactly.
nighttime, and Kaylor and Serena are sleeping outside, and
Mm-hmm.
Aaron and Cordell are not doing that. Um,
Yeah.
that becomes the topic at the recoupling.
Right.
But then the next
Um,
day, Janae tries to tell Kaylor she's sure Aaron is also missing her and feeling bad.
yeah. This is the next morning, right?
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
like, oh no, of course.
Taylor basically woke up crying the
Like
next
every
day.
day, I feel so bad.
I'm like, Taylor, this is not good for your health, girl.
No.
Somebody get her something to relax. She's stressed. Like she rises up out of the bed on the
I'm
outside.
just
I'm sure
really
she's like,
missing Aaron.
I feel so bad for her.
I do too. And I just feel like
Um,
it's only gonna get potentially worse.
yeah, no, for
But
real.
um Josiah brings Janae breakfast that Ignacio made. But I was like,
That was weird. So he just took it, right? And just
I
brought it
think
to...
he said you can bring this, but I don't know. Was kind of quick. So I was like,
I think he took it.
he's like, great.
He's funny.
Thanks.
So he cheats and he steals.
I was just about to say,
Wonderful.
is what it is.
He's a cheater and a thief. Wonderful.
Great qualities. Janae will definitely pick you. But
Hmm.
Aaron makes Daniela breakfast and tells
Hmm.
Miguel he feels really good with her, but he's still thinking about Kaylor and misses her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Miguel tells Aaron, you need to consider Kaylor. And I was like,
if
not
Miguel
Robin
say,
Miguel being the voice of reason. He's like, you have to consider her. You have to.
which I mean, if he's the one saying it, you know you're doing something wrong.
Literally. He's like, you have to consider her in your decision. Um,
But Kenny also is missing Janae and
mhm.
loves her maturity. And it's like, yeah, because ain't
Mhm.
nobody badder than Janae.
For real. I actually really like this. I was like, oh, maybe they will make it out. Like maybe the two of them will be like okay. Like they're both thinking of each other. At this point, I really thought that they were gonna like stay together.
I did too. I was very hopeful.
Yeah.
It just, but we'll get to that. But because Janae is also thinking about Kenny,
Hmm.
and basically, it's essentially all the girls are missing the men,
Yeah.
and the men are just like, in Casa Amor, just like, ooh, vacation.
Living it up. It's basically like carnival. Like they are on vacation. I was gonna ask you, do you think because the major like do you think like the behavior of the group sets the precedent for the group? Like Janae, I mean Serena and Kaylor right off the bat were like, we're sleeping outside. This is what we're doing. I wonder if that set the precedent for Nicole and Janae to be more mindful of their guys. And then on the other end for the guys, all of them are just going headfirst into Casa Amor, doing whatever they want. And so the other guys watching are like, okay, well, gonna do it too. Like I feel like they all had the precedent was set differently, even if that's not what they said going in, because going in, I remember Aaron and Cordell saying they're gonna sleep outside. But
Hmm.
as soon as they got to Casa, the culture of Casa or whatever, maybe that set the precedent, or is everybody just kind of behaving as they naturally would?
It's, a mixture of everything. Because I will
Yeah.
say, with the girls, they were served some mid men. So
Yeah.
they weren't too tempting. But I do feel as though, even if they were, they would still be respectful.
Yeah.
And that's not even to say maybe you won't kiss or something, but it's
Yeah.
just like the way you go about it. Maybe no dry humping in bed and
Right.
things like that.
Right.
But I'll say I feel like the guys, they really like take it seriously. Like, I need to be tested. Like, I need to see if I
Yeah.
really like.
They
Whereas the
keep
girls
saying
are
that.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, like Kenny will say it, and just like other people, it's like, this is a test, and I have to be tested because if I'm not tested, then I'm not living the experience. Whereas the girls
Yeah.
are like, I know it's part of the experience, but like, I'm not gonna just like do it to do it. Like, it'd have to
Yes.
be like real and authentic.
Right. Yeah, that's why I feel like I think that like the purpose of Casa Amor was different to both groups, I
Hmm.
think.
It was. And I
But
guess
I
it's
just
open to interpretation to some effect, but
especially since they didn't all get to sit down and talk about it.
the men just really thought that like they could do whatever and the girls would be like, "Oh, that's fine." Maybe they thought the girls
Exactly.
were also gonna do that, but
I don't know. Even the way that Kendall hypes everybody up and is like, "Go for it, dude. Do it. Yeah, you got to test your relationship." Meanwhile, he's not kissing outside of challenges, he's not kissing anyone. He's not being so forward talking but like the way everyone else is testing is fine even though you don't test the same way.
well, that's
So
what it
like
is. It's always the one not that's like, "Yeah, do it," because they're not, so they want to see it.
for real. That's
Which
so
I'm like,
interesting.
I mean, look. Fuck Kendall. I was gonna try
Yep.
to give him the benefit of the doubt just now for some reason, but then I got some sense back in myself.
Right.
But they get a text about this game for the 4th of July, and like you said earlier, it was about the worst game
Oh my
ever.
gosh. There's really nothing to debrief. It was just nasty.
No, it was
If I could
terrible.
erase the memories from my head, I would. I honestly don't even know why I watched it.
No, same. Like, and I kind of looked away in a lot of it
Oh
because
yeah.
just for the sake of saying it's a game, they're in a line, they have to transfer food from one side to the other using their mouths. The hot
Only.
dog part at first, gross, but whatever. I don't know. The ketchup.
That was nasty.
When JaNa was putting so much ketchup, I was like, wait, they're doing ketchup? What?
Just
And
gross.
it was too
It
much.
it was too much. And usually during the games, we see a little bit of drama. There was no time for any of that. It was just nasty. There's really nothing to
No,
talk about. The Villa won, and it was disgusting. During Aftersun, many of them said they're not eating ketchup ever again.
I don't blame them because it looked
Mm-mm,
warm too.
mm-mm. It was all outside. The
Yes.
pulled pork was outside. It was just gross.
Which
We can
Cordell and
move
Daya
on.
love that pulled pork.
I thought that was disgusting. So
That
they do the
was.
challenge with the pulled pork, and then Cordell and they are like tasting it. And they're like, "Oh, it's pretty good." Probably because all you eat is breakfast food, but it's still
Right.
nasty.
I'm
That's
like,
nasty.
that was too much. I could not. But
Uh,
after game night, the girls kind of clown the guys because they feel like maybe they were like embarrassed during the challenge, but not trying to show it.
oh,
Um, and Daniela Toast shouting out a missing group of hot people. And I was like, oh, that was kind of like, I noted it at that point, like, oh, that was kind of cool of her because I felt like she was giving it to like the girls in the villa. And I was like, that was a nice shout out.
I didn't even catch that.
That's what I thought at least, which I don't know about Daniela, but that moment I was like, okay, that was kind of
I
nice.
just remember her saying that it's really chill and peaceful at Casa. She's
Oh
like,
yeah, I
"Oh, we're
remember
so
that too.
peaceful, or whatever." But I didn't catch that
Oh,
toast.
just
That's kind
wait
of
till
cute.
you reach the fire.
Don't go back to the villa, bitch.
Oh my,
You're gonna
there's not
regret
gonna
your
be,
decision
there's
immediately.
not peace there. Oh my gosh, that is too funny. It's just just thinking about how they're in Bliss and Casa Amor, just like, oh yes, this is so fun. I love this. Do you like
This is
Carmax?
paradise.
To
Do you
go
need some?
and then just entering that villa, that must have been like a culture shock.
I'm gonna be honest. I would have been scared to go back.
I know. It was especially granted how many people came back. Like that was a little shocking.
What's that saying? Hell has no fury than a woman scorned or something like that. And I feel like Love Island proved that saying to be true.
They did. And girl power. That was, I wish I was in person there. I've never been so jealous of Ariana.
No, she looked like she
She
was
was stressed. She was
she looked
liking
like she
some
was
of
like,
it.
oh,
And then she was like, wait a minute. Don't leave today. Don't leave.
for real.
We still
No,
got a
when
few
Janae got
more.
up, she was like, I don't know. I just felt bad for Ariana because like I'm sure there's a lot she wanted to say that she couldn't, you know? But
Yeah.
to be a fly on the wall, I agree, would have been amazing.
Mm. Jacoby, or no, wait, I skipped my note. Josiah first and Janae chat, and he confesses that he likes her.
Mhm.
And she's all like, you should have said it sooner because I guess he waited until she said she like didn't really like him. And then all of a sudden
Mhm.
he's like, I like you. But then Jacoby steals her for a chat. And he also confesses that he likes her. And
Yeah.
she likes his calmness and his energy. And I will agree, I do like Jacoby. If she were to pick between Jacoby or Josiah, I would say Jacoby.
Yeah. No, I definitely well, first off, just I don't know why she's giving Josiah time. He's a cheater, right? Not to
Right.
say that, you can't be redeemed, but in this situation, when the options are like kind of few and time is limited, that's just kind of a red flag. Especially
Right.
how he told her. He didn't say that
Yeah,
like I was unfaithful and I really regretted it and I learned a lot about myself. He was like, yeah, I dated two people at
he
the
was
same time. It's like
sneaky.
he wasn't even being accountable for it. So that would have made me be like, X, I'm not talking to you anymore. So maybe that's also why she already told him like I'm good on you, you
Yeah.
know.
But
But
she's
yeah,
probably
Jacoby's definitely
entertaining.
better.
Yeah, she's probably entertaining conversation because she's like, I'm in a little love triangle. It's okay. Okay,
Yeah.
Josiah, what are you saying? I'm not gonna pick you, but tell me you like me.
Right? What do you have to say? Compliment me.
Right. But she says she's still
Um,
thinking about Kenny.
yeah.
And I did know, I love that there's men thirsting over Janae. Because as
Me
we know with
too.
Janae, she's been having a rough ride this
Mm-hmm.
season. And now finally she's getting the
Yeah.
recognition she deserves.
Right. Right. Like she deserves all of the attention. And then I have Liv and Kaylor chat next.
Oh yes, and is this where she
Poor
was like dreaming?
Kaylor. Kaylor is worried sick to the point where she had a dream about Aaron coming to the villa with somebody else. Like, is if this isn't like the stress that comes when your man is unfaithful, like, oh my gosh, Aaron is putting through the mud.
No,
And
but
then
for
Liv is trying to
real.
hype her up. She's like, "What's the worst that could happen?" And she's like, "I guess we wouldn't be together." And Liv is like, "Right, it's not the end of the world. You're gonna be okay. You're a bad bitch. You're an amazing girl." Like he would be, just hyping her up, which I really appreciate. Liv does a great job bringing it all back to confidence. Like, remember who you are, girl. Don't let this man make you feel some type of way
Hmm.
about yourself.
Gia and I were saying that you want Liv on your side because she's good at
100%.
hyping you up and defending you.
Yep, yep. She tells her to stay present, and then Nicole was there, and they both like compliment how vulnerable and like how big of a heart Kaylor has, and that's why this is kind of happening. But it's like not a
Hmm.
bad thing. You wear your heart on your sleeve because that's the kind of person you are. You're so genuine, and Kaylor cries more because they're being so nice to
You guys
her.
are being so nice.
But it's true. That's what you need when you're like going through it. You need your friends to remind you who you are. You know?
Hmm.
Hmm.
They're good
They-
friends and they're there for her. And you know what, Kaylor? I've given you a hard time, but I feel for you. And
yeah.
I want the best for old Kaylor, little
Right.
Kaylor. But
Mm-hmm.
Cordell and Daya chat, and he tells her he feels bad, but is really feeling her. And
Mm,
then Serena tells Leah she only wants Cordell, and she's
hmm.
ready to either get back to him or look stupid. Like she just wants like a resolution and for like Casa Amor to be over, which
Yeah.
same.
She's basically just as worried as Kaylor is with less tears. But I noted in the his conversation with Daya, he's like, I feel bad, but I owe it to myself and to everyone to explore this. And I was like, do you?
You're not
Uh,
running for president. Like, what do you mean? I owe it to
like
my
I owe it to my
family, my friends, this experience,
yeah.
to
Like
dry hump
he's
Daya in the bed. What do you
like
mean?
this is the way he's justifying it in his mind. Like I owe it to
This is
everybody to
for
do this.
this
This
is for
benefits
y'all. This isn't for me. This is for y'all.
I owe it to you to do this
You're
and to kiss
welcome.
her a lot and to cuddle up in bed with her.
But
And
really,
then
you should be thanking me.
and then he says that he's never had a girl openly like him that much and just be like there for him only. Which also makes me think like, damn, Cordell, yeah, because you've never been on a TV show on an island where a girl had 3 weeks to watch and study you. Like we gotta
That
put all the
part.
pieces together. Yes, it's Love Island. This is a simulated place, right? Where like you meet people at an accelerated rate. But also this girl got to study you. Like just we just have to put all things in context. It's not like, oh man, she just can't. Of
This is
course, the
so
girl has
random.
never
She
done this
popped out of
before.
the ocean and was just like, I
Right.
like you.
She had all the tools to pursue you this quickly, and it will never happen again because it's not real life. Like,
No.
your 22-year-old brain is not computing that this is like low key a fantasy land. How many
Hmm.
relationships actually last after Love Island?
Not
You know
many
what I
from
mean?
what I've seen. Every time I hear somebody either come on Aftersun or in the past in like interviews, it's always like a few months later we broke up.
Basically, so it's like he's kind of in this la la land, which I
Hmm.
understand, but also it's showing his age. It's like he's really not thinking past Casa Amor. He's not. He's
Yeah.
not.
He isn't. And we'll touch on that in a little bit because Ariana kind of said similar things in Aftersun. She's like, I don't think he's a bad person, but I think
Hmm.
he's immature.
Yeah. Yeah.
And But Catherine and Kenny chat. And in my opinion, I thought it was extremely awkward. And I was like, it felt like he was fed lines, like when he was in his little diary room afterwards, and
Yeah.
he's like, and she looks really good tonight. And like, I like that she says she wants to like work sometimes. Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
It was a little weird.
it
He's just,
was.
I mean, it was dry. Like, what are your goals? I don't really know what my goals are, but I like someone to challenge me, is basically what she said. She's like, I'm young. I don't really know what I'm doing yet, but I want someone to challenge me. And he's like, yeah, me too.
What you said about that really resonates with me. It was like a job interview. That's what it felt
Basically.
like. I was like, what is this? This is
When you're
not
trying to reach your word count on an essay, I agree. I also feel.
right. Yes, and because of that, I do feel what you had just said previously, which is stated as this.
Oh my gosh.
I noted that Kane and Liv chat. I didn't
Yeah.
recall what they said, but I guess it's good to note for
Um,
what happens in the recoupling.
Yeah, it was really short. He says he wants to get to know her. He's not really feeling Nicole. She said she's never been in a serious relationship ever, and like she gives everybody her everything,
But
and it
didn't
gets taken
Nicole
for
tell
granted.
him, like, you're just a friend to me? Like earlier in the day?
Something. Yeah, I think earlier they had a conversation. It was very brief that they
Yeah.
showed that. And
Mm.
then they just decide to share a bed. And she liked that he was forward enough to tell her that he likes her.
Yeah.
So it was very brief.
But what wasn't brief? A
Oh
text
my
from the
gosh,
phone.
Kaylor gets a text. The panic in Kaylor's face alone. Somebody get this girl out of Fiji.
No,
Like,
like,
y'all are
it's bad.
tormenting Kaylor.
It's like she
Poor
cried.
girl.
Poor girl, because she already cried like so much before.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like the amount of time she cried before Casa Amor, but all in a span of like 2 episodes.
Basically.
And so
Basically.
it's just, I feel bad for her. But they
Mm-hmm.
get a text that they were sent a story from Casa Amor.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off with Cordell and Dea. And it's
Mm-hmm.
that scene where it's like, oh, I need some lip chap. And she's like, do you like Carmax? But don't hate me. I actually don't have lip chap. I only have lip gloss. And he's like, okay, fuck it. Let's do it. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, but do you want me to give it to you if I just like kiss you? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my God. And then right when they're about to kiss, I think it cuts. But
It
then
does.
that's not
It
the only
shows
scene.
it's bad.
They show just a bed and covers, and
Mm-hmm.
there's movement. And then slowly but surely, it's the scene with Cordell and Dea, and like Dea's like kind of straddling him on top of him. They're making out in bed. It's just
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
He's grabbing her butt. They're basically dry humping. Like, it's not long, but that's what they were doing. And then he grabs her ass and like kind of bounces it and stuff. Like he was doing a lot. And then she leans over and kisses his neck and stuff. Like it's not it's pretty
It's
damning.
it's intimate. It's not,
It's very
despite what he may say, it's not to be taken out of context.
right. In his mind, I mean, it did only last a couple seconds, so probably in his mind, it wasn't like they were like going at it.
Yeah.
But that is if that's the only thing that Serena sees, and it is the worst thing that she sees, it's still not good for you. Like, it's
Yeah.
not good. It's not great. And then it ends, right? It ends. So we
Hmm.
don't see what happened next. She didn't just jump off of you next, I'm sure. There was more,
No,
right?
I think they like stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next clip we see is Aaron
Oh.
and Daniela. And it's the
Mm-hmm.
one we saw where they're like, I think they're by the pool or they're outside, and he's like playing with her feet. And he's all like talking in Spanish, like, oh, I want to kiss you, but I don't want to hurt
Yeah.
someone. And she's like, but we'll never know unless we try.
Yeah.
And then you have Kendall on the side, just like, oh, this is nasty. Like, he is
N-
fucking killing it. Like, I love it. I
and
love
it's
it.
that's not Kaylor. That's not Kaylor.
That is
That's
not
definitely
Kaylor.
not Kaylor. And I guess when they start to kiss, it turns to Kendall. You just see Kendall saying that. And I
Hmm.
think he bit her also.
He did. Um, and
Oh,
then it ends.
Kaylor, Kaylor cries. Taylor is distraught immediately. She starts to cry when it cuts to Kendall talking bad about her. That's what brings
She
her to
does.
tears.
Which I get because it's like you think you're friends with them and they're basically cheering on like you kind of being cheated on. I
Yeah.
almost consider the Kaylor and Aaron low key to be maybe cheating because they were low key, like they were kind of saying they were like falling in love
Oh
and
yeah.
like they were about to
Oh
be
yeah.
like exclusive. Like it was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Because, well, I just bring it back to how pissed Aaron was when Kaylor kissed somebody. So you can't go to Casa Amor and do that and expect her to not be upset when she
Right?
wasn't allowed to do that in a game where it was all fun and games. Like, are you serious? And then, like, the way Kendall is like, he's getting nasty, like, just
Yeah.
talking about it, it just makes it sound. Kaylor is distraught. She says she got fucked and he clearly didn't want to be exclusive with her. And then she's comparing herself to Daniela. She's just like, it's so funny. So they kind of split off. Serena, like, Serena is so upset. She's like laughing.
No,
And
I'm like, oh no.
she goes in
Cordell,
one
you are in
direction.
trouble.
No, for
She's like,
real.
oh my God.
She's like,
Ah.
she's like, I knew it. I knew it. She runs off one way. Janae and Leah follow her. And then Kaylor is just crying and running away in another direction. And
How
Liv
big is
and
this
Nicole.
villa? Taylor was
It's pretty
walking
big.
for a minute.
Kaylor, what I think she was pacing because I was like, girl, I think you would have made it to your
It wouldn't
destination by now.
stop. She just
I
kept going and going and
they're
going. And
like,
I'm like,
Kaylor,
where is
Kaylor,
there to go?
guys, and she's doing the ugly like like the deep gut cry where like
She
you're just
is.
she's weeping, she's mourning.
No, like,
Like
yeah, she's like having an anxiety attack, it feels like.
I just felt so bad. And I'm like, dang, this is like, oh, this is living in Peacock and now on all social platforms. Like, I just feel so, it's so embarrassing. I feel so bad for her. And the major feelings that both of them have is embarrassment. They're like, are you seriously like doing this to me? And I look
Mm-hmm.
stupid because my ass is sleeping outside while
Mm-hmm.
you're in Casa Amor having the time of your life. Like, that's crazy.
It is. I did find it
Um,
funny because there's a point where the girls are kind of all in this one area, like rewatching, and then they're like, Ignacio, what are they saying here? And
yeah.
they have him translate the Spanish. Because when Aaron and
Yeah.
Daniela are talking the whole time, it's like in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really know what she's saying. And that's when he tells
Mm-hmm.
them, like, oh, they said he doesn't want to hurt somebody. And she says, you'll never know unless you try.
Yeah.
But one thing I loved is Nicole clocking Kendall and being like,
Yeah.
let me
She's
hear
like,
what the
why is he
fuck
doing it?
Kendall's saying.
Yeah. She was like, why is he saying that? Like, what's wrong with him? And I'm like, yeah, girl, your man is a shit starter and a shit stir. Like,
hmm If there's one
mm,
thing about Nicole, she does not like a messy, petty man
yeah.
at all. That's why she
It's
didn't really like Miguel after a minute. And then that's
yeah.
why she got mad at Kendall in that dance game because he did
Mm-hmm.
it to be like petty.
Spiteful and petty. Yeah.
hmm
I think it's tough though because all of them talk shit about each other like at one point or another. But I
hmm
feel like it's pretty consistent for Kendall. And in this situation, again, I'm saying like the culture in Casa is like this is fine. It's completely fine to him. So he's like hyping them up. Meanwhile, you're not even putting together that like this might upset her. Rob and Miguel have the wherewithal to know that like, oh yeah, Kaylor probably would be upset. But you're here like just talking shit. Like, I don't know, you're so bored in Casa Amor that all you can do is watch people like make out and comment on it. Like, go find something to do, Kendall. I don't know. Like,
Mm.
I get that they all talk, but like seems like he talks the most, right, Brandon? Like this whole time, he's gotten in
Yes.
trouble the most for what he's saying on the sidelines.
He does. I feel like it's a part of because remember he said like he was kind of like a nerd and like he got like a glow up or something like kind of late
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then like he was 5'1" in high
Mm-hmm.
school or something. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like I think now he's like considered hot, so he just
Mm.
doesn't and like with popular people. So he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yeah, bro, this is amazing." Like, "Yeah, bro, like let's get nasty." Ah. And it's like
He's doing what he thinks is
cringe.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, trying to fit in. I could see
Mhm.
that. I could see that.
But it's
Cause I
like
mean, I don't think you outgrow being a nerd. Like, just embrace the fact you're a little nerdy. Like, it's cool. That's just part of your
right.
personality. I think
It's
I'm a little
okay.
nerdy, right? Like, it's fine.
You are, and that's okay. Me too.
Um,
Uh,
but yeah, that's I just have like some notes on like what people are saying. Like Serena says it's slimy, grimy, and disrespectful. She's sick AF. Kaylor
mm-hmm,
says it shows who he really is. He said he wanted to meet her family and then does that. They
mm-hmm.
both watch it over and over again.
They do.
Serena, while she's watching it, she like mocks Daya. I think they said like, "Honey, you want
No,
some chapstick?"
yeah,
Like it
because
was she and Janae.
it was Janae, Leah, and Serena, and Janae's like, "Don't watch it again," and then they play it, and then Serena and Leah go, "Do you like CarMax?" And then Janae just laughs, and it was honestly the funniest thing.
The
I
three of them, we
love
have the same
them.
sense of humor as them.
Yes. And I'm like, it's petty, it's mean, but it's great. It's funny. And like
No, it
when they were
really
in the
is.
beauty room and Janae was like, say the word, I'll pull up to Casa. Like, we'll pull up to Casa. I'm like, how, Janae? But also
Literally,
same. Like, let's
Janae,
go.
how? She's just trying to make her laugh and like get her in a better mood. Or she actually thinks she has the power.
I
It
mean,
could
if
be either.
anyone
It could be
does,
either.
it's
It's
Janae.
Janae.
But yeah,
Um,
it's basically them comforting each other. And then just like we get
yeah.
Serena in the diary, and she's like, I'm making jokes to stop from crying. But she just feels
Hmm.
stupid because it's happened so many times before. And this is why she kind of like takes things slow.
Yep.
And she refuses to let him tear her down, and she's done with it.
And this is
And
the first time we're like hearing why Serena moves the way she does.
mhm,
Whether she has a like, your preference is your preference, but she's doing it because in the past she feels like she's moved quickly with men and it's not been a situation she's wanted to be in, so she takes her time getting to know them.
yeah,
It's actually a very like mature way to go into this kind of show where like all types of feelings are all over the place. People are confused, people are exploring. But
yeah.
it broke my heart when she started crying. I didn't think she was gonna cry when she started laughing at first, but
I
she
didn't
started
either,
crying.
but she does, and but that's what it is. Like she's not a Kaylor. Her default isn't to cry
Yeah, her default is to like
hysterically.
get mad and like kind of joke and kind of
Hmm.
mask her feelings and then it comes out other ways. Maybe
Hmm.
she'll cry later, but her default is to like, just kind of put on a face.
Yes. And so basically this episode ends with just them feeling like blindsided and stupid, and it's heartbreaking
Mhm.
because uh, it was a lot.
All right, Brandon. So now we're into episode 22. And
Hmm.
there's like I feel like half of the episode is spent on they're still in casa, and then the other half it changes.
Yeah.
So it starts back up with Kaylor crying. Our poor girl Kaylor.
She's
And
going through it.
she's going I literally like I feel so bad for her, but I actually like really hope maybe the men that are watching can see like, yo, this is what you put some girls through.
Hmm.
Like you should be mindful of your actions.
I agree. This should be an eye-opening experience to them,
Right.
hopefully,
Right. Right.
but we'll see.
So Kaylor is very upset. She's crying. Nicole and Liv are giving her a pep talk. She's like, I'm delusional. I'm delusional. I'm stupid. And they're basically telling her, no, you're not. Liv is really trying to cheer her up the best she can. And she's just like, no, you're not delusional. Even we fell for it. And she's like, you're so genuine. You don't get off on itsy bitsy shit. You are very like she is trying. When she said itsy bitsy, I was like, oh my gosh, Liv. But I get the sentiment. She's trying to cheer her up.
Yes, and she was like, "You would never just go for a guy just like for the opportunity when they're with another girl. Like you're not like that. Like da 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 da."
Exactly. Exactly. Like you're genuine. You wouldn't steal someone's girl, yeah, or steal someone's guy. And then Serena, they're all in the dressing room at one point, and Serena is like, if people she said she just started mentioning things and saying like, he's like being intimate with her, but we were pretty intimate before he left, which
Oh
I was surprised
yeah.
by.
I was too. I was like, "Ooh, what'd they do?" And that literally like Cordell, you have the ring on, You were just intimate with her before, and you still do all this? You're
It's
maniacal.
crazy. Yeah. And so they're all kind of processing, and I think it's been probably at least an hour. I can tell some of the other girls are like a little tired of the conversation.
Yes.
Um,
Well, because
and
I will say Leah has the funniest commentary, which she was like, you have one licking some cheap ass CarMax, you have the other licking some dirty ass feet. Like, what are y'all doing?
no, I loved it. And then Liv says something to the effect of like, "Thank God you found out right now, like instead of later." And Kaylor is like, "Yes, yes," and she gets on the table and is like putting her hands to the sky, and she's like, "Thank you, God, for showing me this now." And I'm just like, Kaylor,
Taylor
I love
starts
you,
to
but
break out into part
please,
of your world. She's just having her full performance. She's like, what would I
literally.
give if I could be in Casa Amor? Like she's just going off. And they're just there laughing, just like, oh, let her have it. Let her do this moment.
She's in a state of, I want to say, like hysteria. Like she is like so upset. And like when she was trying to say the whole like thank you God thing, she couldn't even get the words out. She was just like, "Oh, oh, oh."
Oh, and another thing. Oh, oh.
Do you remember that, Brandon? Like she was like incoherent. And I'm
She
like, "Kaylor,
was. Poor
can
girl.
somebody get Kaylor some water
And
and
she's like,
maybe
who
make her
wants
a
to
toasty?"
sleep and share a bed with me? And Liv is
She
like,
opens
May.
she opens the balcony door and she's like, "Guys, guys, what's this like?" I'm like, "Yo, this is sad."
Oh,
Well, but they
poor
just let her have her
Kaylor.
moment, which I appreciate.
They do. She needed to get it out. They understood, but it
Yeah.
doesn't it go back to like Casa Amor
It
and
goes back
like
to Casa and more, and then
mhm.
we see a couple of chats.
Yeah.
First, it's Daniela and Rob. Hey, no, it's not.
I think no, it was
Yeah.
I only know because I watched it again today, but I forgot to take notes. Rob and Aaron chat.
Rob and Aaron chat. Yes.
And which we
Yes.
learned in Aftersun why,
Yeah.
which makes it
So
but
yeah. So they basically have a conversation, and Aaron is like, "I'm kind of on the fence now. I do really miss Kaylor. Daniela is great, but I do miss Kaylor. And, I don't think it would be right for me to leave with Daniela." And Rob is like, "Okay, that's all good and whatever, but you need to tell her so that at least she can like make some decisions and not be waiting on you to pick her, basically." And
right.
he's like, "Yeah." And basically asks Rob, like, "Are you still feeling Daniela?" And Rob's like, "Yeah, I kind of am. She's like the only person I really vibe with." And I was like, "Is that true?"
Since when?
Because you were like really liking Destiny at first. You've talked to
Yeah.
Sydney. Like he's kind of talked to everybody. I haven't seen him talk to Daya, but like he's talked to them. It's like I think he wants to pick Daniela. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then um, so what did they say in
Oh,
After
yes.
Sun?
Sydney. So on After Sun, they had Ignacio, Sydney, and Destiny
Mm-hmm.
on.
I don't know why they brought Destiny. She didn't say nothing.
I guess just because there was two girls, so they're like, you both can come, I guess.
Oh, true.
But they basically, Sydney said that it was very random that Rob picked Daniela because Daniela
Mm.
spent all her time with Aaron.
Hmm.
But when Kaylor was yelling like fuck Aaron, fuck
Oh,
Casa,
right.
they could
Yeah.
hear from which there was kind of a clip where they're like, who's yelling? And Aaron was like, that's Kayla. But they didn't really make it seem like they could tell what she was
Was
saying.
saying,
But I
yeah.
guess they could based off what Sydney was saying, because I guess she heard them say fuck Aaron.
Uh,
And then after that is when Aaron told Rob, like, oh, I can't do this.
that's interesting to me because they did seem to hear her but didn't say anything. So the night before, after Kayla, when Kayla was in kind of her hysteria, she was screaming like fuck Casa, fuck Aaron, and I think she said fuck something else. And then yeah, we see them kind of hear it. I think it's more what that girl on TikTok was saying about production. The TikTok you sent me?
Oh yes, there was this girl on TikTok who's like a reality TV producer, and she doesn't work on Love
Mm-hmm.
Island, but she's like, what I think happened was because I think every cast member has their own producer, which I've heard that's how it is on other shows as well.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they think Aaron went to the producer and was just like, I'm feeling Daniela, but I'm feeling bad. And it's just like, I don't know. And then the producer is probably like, no, like Kaylor will definitely take you back if you come back like single or like whatever.
Yeah,
And
like
it's
trying to encourage him to pick Kaylor, basically.
yes. And then like with Rob, they were like, you should totally bring Daniela. Like, and it's
Yeah,
smart. I mean,
it's smart.
it
I feel
makes
like
sense.
yeah, and I feel like that makes this like plot twist make sense because really, like, if we're being honest, Aaron has barely mentioned Kaylor this whole time, and then all of a sudden he's like cutting things off with Daniela. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like had a conversation and kind of like talked him into that direction. Rob bringing Daniela back, I think it's still kind of random, but it is what it is.
It is, I will say, we didn't see him necessarily, like, kind of Destiny in the beginning, like you said, but he wasn't connecting too much with people. And I mean, he would
No,
have to bring someone,
yeah,
but it is weird that it was Daniela.
yeah, I agree.
And the girls clock that.
Because they both said at first like they liked Daniela and Destiny, I think was who Rob and Aaron were first immediately
Yes.
attracted to, but it is weird.
Hmm.
Kendall later has a chat. Excuse me. Kendall later has a chat with Aaron saying it's going to be awkward. So he explains what happened. And he's like, yeah, I cut things off with Daniela and now Rob is talking to her. And Kendall's like, Rob is talking to her. And Aaron is like putting the pieces together now that like it's going to be awkward because Aaron has a conversation with Daniela earlier, basically telling her, like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and pick Kaylor. And she's like, I'm kind of sad, but I understand, you did have a stronger connection. And then he was like, but Rob is still really nice, and like there are other guys here that are really nice. Like Aaron basically tells Daniela, go talk to Rob.
Yeah.
And then later Kendall's like, you told her to go talk to Rob? And he's like, yeah, that's probably gonna be awkward now because Kayla's gonna be there and I'm gonna have to explain myself. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, no shit. What's wrong with you? Like, you guys literally don't think past like 5 minutes.
They don't, which is glorious for us, but for them, terrible. Rob is
Right.
also stuck on this thing because last year he was in Casa and he didn't make it. So he's all
Yeah.
like, I know what it's like to have your experience cut short and like not make it out. So like I want Daniela to have that opportunity. And I'm like, the opportunity the underlying thing is not the opportunity to find love. The underlying thing is an opportunity to get some followers and like make it on another show.
Honestly.
Let's be clear.
Honestly. Let's be honest.
But you know,
So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, Aaron is finally putting the pieces together that this probably is gonna be messy.
yeah.
Then we hear Miguel. I don't remember who Miguel was talking to, but he was basically, and I think it was partly the cameras and other people too. But Miguel is basically like, I'm not 100%, but like I really like Sierra. I like Leah. I don't know if it's lust. My dick was hard, so we'll see. And I'm just like,
Y'all
yo,
know
why
I'm
do they give
indecisive.
I'm like, why do they even let you talk?
They
Like,
shouldn't.
oh my gosh, not your dick was hard. My gosh, you have
Shut
no
up,
shame.
Miguel. I can't with him. He's just
I
like the worst.
I will say though, Miguel is the only one to acknowledge the lust factor, which
He
I think
is.
is very valid to acknowledge here. Like, okay,
It
Miguel, you
is.
got one thing. He's like, I don't know if it's lust or not?
True.
Then we
He's
have
realistic.
right, he is. Then we have Kenny, and Kenny is confused. He's talking to Sydney at first, and he's basically like, I really like JaNa. I miss JaNa. I don't know what I want to do yet, but like, I think I'm just gonna go back to JaNa. And Sydney was like, well, I really liked talking to you, and you're like kind of the guy I wanted to talk to. And Kenny is just like kind of listening to her. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then they all go to bed. So Rob asks Daniela to sleep with him, and Aaron sleeps outside.
On the final night, how
And
noble. He's
I'm
trash.
like, right, he is. And I'm like, why are you sleeping outside now? Because you don't want to see your best mate with the girl you were just low key like swooning for.
Right. Or are you trying to respect Kaylor? Please.
Right, all of a sudden.
My thing is like, he did it backwards. Because I feel like if he tried to be respectful, but really like built a bond with someone and like it was genuine and something happened maybe the last day, like I could get it. But to spend 3 of the days like completely connected with them and then
Yep.
just randomly, oh no, I'm thinking about Kayla. I can't be with Rob, my best friend. And then just sleep outside. It's like, no, this is like weird. You're
Yeah,
not
very
saving
weird.
face.
Not at all. Not at all. And then at Casa, all the beds are empty. Like it's just all of the I mean in the villa,
Oh
all the
yeah.
beds are empty. It's just all the guys kind of like in bed and they're like, "Look at what this video did." One of them says, like, "Look what happened." And it's just all of them in bed and none of the girls are. They're all like outside like debriefing still.
I know.
Um and then I think we get to the next day.
Yeah.
Um they're all kind of in the morning montage while they're getting ready. Kendall is doing another dance and he's singing and he's talking to Aaron, I think. And he's like, hope like he's making up a song and one of the lines is hopefully the girls are happy to see us and hopefully they forgive and forget. And I'm like, so you know that this has been messy, Kendall. Like
Right.
hopefully they forgive and forget, but you're like singing a song like you literally have no idea what is about to
Y'all
go
must be
down.
confused about who these girls are
They're all
because
delusional.
like we'll get to
Yeah.
it.
And then Catherine talks to Kenny, and she basically tells him that she likes him a lot. Well, first they start talking about working out. He's like, "Oh, I feel so bad because I haven't worked out." And she's like, "Yeah, oh my gosh, me too. I work out all the time, and yeah, like I just haven't been working out here. And yeah, like sometimes I flex my abs, like ooh, like ooh." And I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with Catherine?"
She, I don't know.
Yo, what
This
is that?
this gave very it's the last day and I'm trying to make it to the villa, so I'm trying to have a moment.
I'm
She's like, I just like to be
Catherine.
toned. And I'm like, okay, like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, Catherine. And then they kiss.
They
And
do. She asks him, she was like, "Oh, I was hoping to come over here for a kiss." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
he's like, well then. I'm like, ew.
It's
And then
just
they
weird. And she
do.
says that like, "Oh, I wanted you to like I was kind of hoping like to come here for a guy like you and stuff." And it's like kind of like hyping Kenny up a little bit. It was just weird.
Yeah.
But
And
it
then all of a
works, I
sudden
guess.
I guess, he's like all of a sudden so confused. I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah, in the confessional, he's like, I'm torn because, I'm kissing Catherine, but I'm thinking of JaNa. And then I open my eyes and I see Sydney. And it's like, you're really not in a love triangle at all.
You're trying to have a moment right now. I can't with this.
You are. And so was Catherine with all that acting she was doing. I was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? Um, then we go back to the villa. In the morning, one of the guys makes Kaylor breakfast, which was really sweet. I want to say it was Jalen because later Jalen
Yes.
pulls her for a chat.
Yes, I think it was Jalen.
Okay. So he pulls her for a chat and he's basically like, "How are you?" And she's like, still very emotional, very upset. And he's like, "Well, I do want to get to know you." And then like Nicole and Liv are like crawling on the ground trying to go and
That
hear what's
was the
happening.
funniest thing. Seeing Nicole bear crawl and Liv's just like hopping the plants. I'm like, this is amazing.
They're so funny.
Ugh,
But yeah, so Jalen is just like talking to her and he's like, I really like you. I do want to get to know you still. Like, I'm sorry that you've been treated this way. And I'm like, Jalen, read the room. This girl is not going to give you the time of day. And so he like leans in and tries to kiss her and she like gives him a kiss on the cheek. And he's like, really? You're not going to give me a kiss? And I'm like, no, she's not going to give you a kiss, Jalen. What's wrong with you?
right? I'm like, the only time she kissed you was during games. And that was it.
Yeah.
Like, not
And
now.
and it made me think like I feel like these bombshells really have not been rejected much. Like this is probably the most in their life that they have not been given the time of day.
Right. And I gave very much similar to Catherine Jalen just trying to secure a spot in the villa.
Yeah.
And it's just like, did you not just see she was like breaking down and like doing all
Right.
this? Like, why would she want to kiss you now?
And also like you I'm not gonna read into it a lot, but like this is the worst time to try to talk to a girl. She's like in the worst state of her life. If she does bring
Yeah.
you back, she's not gonna be paying attention to you. Like you don't be a pick me right now, Jalen. Like you don't want this. Even if she
No.
was gonna pick you, you don't want it. She's
Bye,
not gonna give you any
Jalen.
attention.
Get out of
she's
here.
she's obviously hung. Like, did you not see her crying all night?
She's
Read the
still
room.
crying. Y'all are talking and she's crying.
She's like
Stop.
emotional in this conversation.
I can't with him. Uh,
um And then I think then they get a text that's like, the recoupling is tonight, Casa Amor is ending basically, and then you
hmm.
guys gonna have the people, all the people in both groups kind of reflecting. Um
Yes.
Aaron is talking and basically like, I'm glad I put myself out there, but I do feel bad and I feel like I shouldn't have done some things, but like I also should have done it to like test our relationship. Again, this logic that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And then Kordell is like, yeah, I'm really glad that like I came here to make die. He even said like, oh, I just want one more day, and I'm like, for what?
Yeah,
What do you
that's what
want
I'm
one more day
confused by. I
for?
was just like, what do you mean?
What do you need
Why?
another day for? I thought you love like. I think you're pretty. Your actions speak very clearly that you like Daya. What do you need another day for?
Oh,
Um, and then he's like, I feel kind of bad. I think Serena might feel away, and I was like, might. This is how I know you don't listen, Kordell, because if you knew Serena, you would know that she would feel away.
sir, you don't understand
You have no idea.
the pits of hell you are about to enter. It's
Literally.
almost, I'd almost feel bad for him if he didn't have her ring on
Yeah.
and if he didn't like get intimate with her the day before. Like, I'd like maybe if he was true, if truly maybe he didn't like, if he wasn't so disrespectful about it, I could almost feel bad. But because he just did it so poorly, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the main issue with it too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, sir, you don't understand. Like,
You have no idea. And I think it's like so bad and it just made me really think like I really feel like he didn't listen to her. Like when she opened up to tell you like, "Hey,
and
I
she
really
caught
like
on to
you."
that.
He didn't like he wasn't listening and she did catch on early on like I don't think this boy listens. He obviously didn't because to say that Serena might feel away is like really like everybody is really on two different pages.
No, they
I
like
think we're on
don't get it.
two different shows because the boys think Casa Amor is one thing. Yes, test your relationship but do it respectfully. Like damn.
hmm Like, I would say
Um
Janae tested her relationship in a respectful way.
oh yeah.
Like,
She
there
talked to
was
these
some
guys.
kissing, but it was
Mhm.
mostly chatting. And like in the bed, there was like the fort. So she
Mhm.
never really crossed the line like that, you
Mm-mm.
know?
And she really only really kissed them during challenges and then like maybe occasionally on the side, but it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't
Mm-mm.
anything crazy like Daniela and Aaron making out. Like they were going at it. Nothing
Mm,
in the bed, right? Like yeah,
yeah.
we can see where the line was crossed and where it wasn't.
Hmm.
So now we have
Are we
the
there?
fatal recoupling. Yes. Take it away, Brendan. It begins with our queen entering the building.
It does. Ariana looking like a mermaid, wrapped, wrapped in
Mermaid.
neon. She, when she was standing there, you could not see like any body part. She was just like wrapped in it like a neon tail, just like swapsies. Hi everyone. I'm here for the recoupling. I'm like, yes. Um,
She
she
looked
enters
great.
yet to miss a look. I have to say with this recoupling, I wasn't sure how they were gonna do it, but I
Oh
love the
yeah.
way they did it.
Me too, because last season, season five, it was different.
Was it? It
So
seemed pretty
last,
different from like the little flashbacks I've seen of a lot of seasons.
The main thing that was different was last time, if you decided to stay with your partner and your partner decided to stay with you got to run to them and greet them on their way in. This
Okay.
time they made everybody come and stand at a marker first
Yeah.
before addressing the group. I think because they knew it's like, nah, she's single, but she's not here for you.
No, exactly. It's like this was mess.
I will
But
say though, I kind of want them to give Ariana a few more camera angles. Like it's the same kind of slow mo in, and like this one was like a smile to the side. Sometimes she'll turn around and look, and I'm like, doing a lot more. But
they need
I
to
get
show it
it.
all off. We get it, but also it just needs to be a little longer.
Yeah, because it's the same angles that they used for the last host.
Yeah.
I think her name was Sarah or something, but
Sarah
I digress.
Hyland. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just a side note, producers. Y'all have time to change it. There's plenty of season left. Um, but so basically it starts off, with the Villa girls. They're around the fire pit. The Casa Amor men are standing. And it's basically like one by one, a girl will stand up. They will decide if they want to couple up with someone from Casa, if they want to remain loyal to their man that's in Casa Amor currently, or if they want to actually be single and be
Mm-hmm.
tied to no one. And so first, Liv starts, and they get that out of the way because Liv is single. So
Yeah.
she's just gonna pick someone so she's not
Mm-hmm.
single. I wasn't sure who she was gonna pick because honestly, I had forgotten that she had talked to Kane. So when she picked him, I was
Yeah.
like, okay. I feel like
They
we
had
heard the
us.
least from him of all the
Yeah.
people, but sure,
Yeah. They had
why
a
not?
small chat.
They did.
Just like Rob is cursed, Liv is cursed. She hasn't had anything stick yet. So
Yeah. So
that
she
was
picks
that.
him. Yeah, and it was
Mm-hmm.
cute. It was fine. Fun. Nicole's up and she stands and she's basically like, I want to remain loyal to Kendall.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we were pretty sure Kendall wasn't going to pick anyone. It didn't really show him connecting with anyone. If anyone,
Yeah.
maybe Sierra, because they talked, but they didn't
Mm-hmm.
really show anything after that. So it shows Kendall walking up, single. He didn't pick anyone. So
Mm-hmm.
it's this sweet moment. Nicole starts to
Mm-hmm.
cry. Kendall looks
Mm-hmm.
excited.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's kind of cried and just happy for them.
Yeah. It was really sweet.
It was. Gia was like, I don't like this because I hate Kendall. She hates.
Yeah, I was like, it's cute, I guess, but I
That's the
wasn't
thing.
very happy either.
I was like, Kendall, if you weren't so messy, I actually could really enjoy this moment because this is sweet. Because I've shipped
Exactly.
Kendall and Nicole, but he
Oh
like
yeah,
ruined it.
y'all could have won Love Island. I don't think you will because people don't like you, Kendall. You talk too damn much and
He
you're
does.
annoying and
Right?
petty.
Mm-hmm.
I did say before when we saw the preview for this episode, I think I was texting you and I was like, Nicole is crying. Like
Yes.
she's like sobbing and she looked really sad. But now I realize it was happy tears, even though
I
they look
realized
sad.
that too. Yeah, I was like, oh, she
She
was
looks
just happy.
sad. Yeah, in the preview they showed her crying and I was like, "What?" But
I was
no,
like,
she
what
was
did Kendall do? No, he didn't.
no, I was like, those were happy tears. Okay, Kendall
Yes.
didn't
So
fuck it up.
happy for Nicole. Kendall, but then next is Janae.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this was gonna be similar to Nicole and Kendall. You
No,
know,
next up is Leah.
oh, Leah. Shit, you're right. Okay. Leah's up next. And then, well, you know what? This is funny. It's kind of going from like predictable to maybe, well, I wouldn't say unpredictable, but messy. Um,
Yeah,
so Leah's next. And I thought maybe she would pick Ignacio because they kind
yeah.
of bonded. But Leah, she may be dumb, but she's also real. And
And
she's
she's
like,
consistent.
she's consistent. So she's just like, I was feeling Iggy, but I
Why are
really
you
have been
talking
think
like
you
that?
know
That
she
is how
talks
she
like
sounds. Don't do her.
I
Don't
love
do.
it though. No, but I love it. Leah, you're my toxic
No,
queen. I love you, Leah.
that's exactly how she sounds.
She was wearing a very interesting dress, and I was very confused how it was
I was
like.
like, this looks like a bandana.
It does. I was kind of here
And
for it, but I
how's
was
the
like, how is it staying up? There must have been a tape of some sort.
the dress was defying gravity.
It was. She put some spell on it and it just
She
like
put some.
stayed up. I was like, yes, all right. Uh, but she ultimately decides she's not gonna pick anyone. She's gonna remain loyal to Miguel. And then, as a surprise to no one, Miguel shows up with Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
And Leah kind of looks like, what the fuck? But I think
Mm-hmm.
also she kind of knew.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets up there. Ariana's like, oh, hi, Miguel. Hi, Sierra. How are you? And they're like, we're good. And he's like, so you see, Leah has stayed single and like chose to remain loyal to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what made you pick Sierra? Like, how do you feel about this? And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, the thing is, like, totally, like, the thing about Leah, our time was very limited, but I really like her. And the thing with Sierra, although I'm picking Sierra, I told her I'm not in a relationship. So, because I'm not in a relationship, I'm still open to Leah, but I do also like Sierra. So I picked Sierra to come with me, but I'm not in a relationship with anyone. Da 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 da. And Ariana's like, oh, okay, Miguel, but you do know you are coupled with Sierra, right?
And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Bet. Yep.
And Sierra looks like kind of teed off. Like
She is.
she
She's
looks
like,
annoyed.
all right, thanks, Miguel. I barely
Yeah.
liked you, and you're doing me like this.
Right. He's basically like, she's cool. And so is Leah. Like, it's so funny because he was talking so much game. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's my type. She's the kind of girl I want to be with in the long term. Blah, 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 blah. Just to be like, yeah, and I'm keeping my options open. What about
I have two
it?
options now. He's like,
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm a betting man. Um, and Leah's just like, I mean, we did only have 2 days together, but like, did I cherish those two days? Yeah, I guess. But I also know the man, so I knew he'd bring someone. But I like him.
It's like, this is so toxic. Both of you are a mess and you're
Uh,
perfect for each other. If Sierra has some wherewithal, she will exit stage left as soon as
she will.
possible.
She probably will. She looks like she has some sense. So I kind
Yeah.
of feel like Liam Miguel may have a moment. Like they might
Yeah.
rejoice. Um,
Brandon, I was just gonna say though, when Miguel walked in, I was like, what is he wearing? He can't dress, and he did not bring enough clothes.
what was he wearing?
He was wearing that same like green like that green shirt that he wore it
Oh
open,
yeah.
and I think he had a black undershirt on with those like white and blue washed pants
I have
and a
noticed his
do-rag.
style seems very like mismatched, but not in a good
It's like
way.
it's like early 2000s music video. Like, what are you doing? He cannot dress at all. Most of these guys can't dress. After Miguel came in, I was like, also, what is everybody else wearing? You guys look gross.
I will say Cordell always looks put together.
Cordell, Kendall, and that's it. Cordell
Yeah.
and Kendall are the only, I guess, Kane, since he's part of the cast now. The
Yeah.
three of them look nice for the most part. But the others, Rob, I don't know what he's wearing. Aaron always looks like he's about to go golfing.
He
Kenny looked
does.
like he was on his way to choir practice or like to do a church
He
sermon. I don't
did.
know
He
what
was like,
Kenny
I'm
was
going to like an
wearing.
audit convention with
Yeah.
PwC. Like, what do you
Right.
mean?
Like, Kenny, you're both all of them. They're like, all right, they should dress better. I think Kenny is cute, but I don't think Rob and Aaron are attractive at all. I don't know what people see in them. Like they have nice smiles. It's not like you're a 2, but you're not a 10.
No, but they think they are.
Oh yeah, for sure,
And
for sure.
mm. But Miguel and Sierra sit down and
Yes.
they're there. JaNa's up next, and JaNa's
Yeah.
in her red dress looking good. I
Mm-hmm.
was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, JaNa. She just looks better than ever. Face card never declined. Just
Mm-hmm.
hair laid, all of it good. And she talks about basically, I was into Josiah and Jacoby, but I kept thinking about Kenny. So I'm gonna stay loyal to Kenny. And I'm thinking bet he's gonna like stay loyal to her. Like I know he was like saying like, "Oh, I don't know, Catherine," but I was like,
Yeah.
that's just for the episode. Like,
Yeah.
ain't no way.
No.
Him, he's dressed in his church finest. She's dressed as a disco ball. Catherine and Kenny
Mm-hmm.
stroll up to the villa, and instantly Janae's like, "What?" She's like, no, I'm done. No, dead
She's
ass, get my
pissed.
suitcase. I'm done. I'm leaving. Nicole and Liv are like, no, you can't. You can't. She's like, no, dead ass. Ari, I'm not taking L's. I'm leaving. I'm done. I can't do this.
Mm.
And
She
so
was so mad.
I was not,
I
I
was
wasn't
surprised by all
expecting
of this.
all of it. I was like, I didn't know this would happen.
Uh-uh.
And
Because, like, I feel like in conversation, she has, like, alluded to, like, I hope Kenny picks me. But it wasn't like she was 100% sure. But I guess it was more like a 80%. Like, you know,
yeah, I don't know. And then Catherine, it just looked random. Like they weren't even holding hands,
they
like when they were
weren't.
walking.
It's like they just met and he was like, well, she thinks I'm cute. So I was gonna bring her back to the villa so we could test. It's like, Kenny, the fuck?
Kenny,
You don't even
uh,
like this girl because Janae calls him out.
she does. She's like, who has a stronger connection? Do you think you have a connection as strong with her after 3 or 4 days? Be honest. Do not waste my time. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
getting to the point. I love this. And he's like,
Yes.
I'm surprised Janae doesn't have someone. And she's like, why would you be surprised? And he's like,
Yeah.
well, I thought with Catherine, like, I haven't been tested and our time was limited. And I just feel like to test a relationship, you need it to be longer. So I thought I met this beautiful woman at the villa. So I brought her here. And it's like, Nicole's reactions killed me because every time these men would talk, Nicole was just like,
It's that meme where the girl looks confused, the lady looks confused, and there's like math equations above her
yes.
head. Like
She's like,
she's
what
trying
the
to put it
fuck is
together.
happening?
No, it's like, Kenny, literally, what is your reason? Can you rephrase your answer? Because you didn't get. So, again, two for two. You asked Miguel why, whatever. Miguel doesn't give a good answer. You ask Kenny why did he bring her? He doesn't give a good answer. And Catherine just looks like a deer in headlights. She's just like,
She does. I actually felt really bad for her.
I was like, Catherine, put your
I,
hair down.
oh,
I don't know. Because her eyes are just like
well,
really
it was just like,
big.
she just looked like very like tense.
Very.
That's
And
the
I was like,
thing.
and she didn't even look like herself because
She
before
didn't. I was like,
she
no,
had
you
her
don't
hair
look how
down.
you've looked. Like, cause
That's what I mean. Before
yeah,
she had her hair down, she looked normal, she looked calm, cool, collected. She walked in here, her eyes are just wide.
she
Really, I
just looked
can't read this
nervous.
I can't read her expression at all. Yeah, she looked very nervous. And Kenny didn't do her any favors. It's like, why
No.
I wouldn't want to stay in the villa with you after you said that. You can't even stand on the reason why you brought me here.
No, and he says his connection with Janae is stronger.
I don't think
So
Kenny realizes is that you're basically ending your coupling with Janae.
I think a lot of
So
them did
your
not realize
relationship
that.
with right, like you're ending your relationship with this person to bring in this new person. You're cutting them off, you're putting them at risk, and you're making them single if if they don't couple up with somebody else. Like you gotta put it, he's not seeing any of it.
They're trying to treat it like Big Brother almost, like strategy in a way. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this I don't think is the game because
I don't think
like
this is a game.
I think he was being honest when he said he wasn't sure if he proved himself to Janae. And like I think he did think Janae, for whatever reason, he thought Janae was gonna pick someone. So
Yeah.
I think
And
he
then
just
he
picked
just picked
someone
someone.
like as an insurance policy, like, oh, she'll have someone, so I need to have someone.
And then he didn't expect to have to answer for his behavior because he wouldn't have to if she picked somebody.
Yeah, but
Mm.
no,
See,
Janae's a real one,
see what happens when you assume you make an ass out of you and me.
and poor
And
Catherine.
Kenny in this, yeah, poor Catherine.
I felt bad. I was like, oh, Catherine.
She looked confused even when they sat down. Any other time they pan to Kenny and Catherine, Catherine looks the same way. She's just like eyes wide, just look confused.
I'm like, oh,
People on TikTok are like, the lights are on, but nobody's home.
poor Catherine. You'll be all right, Catherine. They'll be nice to you. I feel like
That's why I'm like, these guys really didn't think their decisions through. You brought these girls over to the villa for them to basically get mobbed by the girls you're leaving behind, and you can't even give a good reason for why you brought them.
that
How
part.
embarrassing! How
So,
embarrassing!
mm, so they sit
I
down.
We continue.
JaNa goes with Leah and Serena, the charmed ones. The power of three will
Mm-hmm.
set them free. Our toxic trio we love. Um, and next up is Kaylor.
Oh,
And now with Kaylor, she's in her best Renaissance outfit. She's ready to go. She did her hair up. She did her makeup a little severely. The eyebrows were a little close together, I noticed, but she was trying to have a
I
moment.
didn't.
And
I did it.
so she goes on her thing and she's like, well, I've been sleeping
No, no,
outside.
no. Did you peep Aaron's walk-in?
No, she said this before too.
Oh, she did. You're right. You're right.
You're
Sorry,
right.
sorry.
No, you're good. I got confused too because I would skip to Serena's part sometimes, and I forgot that she kind of said the same thing about sleeping outside beforehand because they say it twice. That's why I'm like, it was such a
They
big deal that they
do.
slept outside.
They
But
do.
she's basically like, oh, I slept outside and all this, and like
Mm-hmm.
I've been worried about Aaron or like thinking about him all the time. But I was sent a video from Casa
Mm-hmm.
Amor. So I think I'm not gonna bring anyone or couple up,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna stay single and not stay loyal to Aaron because he wasn't loyal to me. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
pop off. And
Mm-hmm.
so Aaron walks in with his best bowling shirt. And he's like nervous. He's like, oh, I don't want to see this. And then he sees that Kaylor's alone. And he's like, let's go. And they're just like,
Yeah.
not right now. No, too soon.
Which is
Too soon.
this confuses me because when Cordell goes, it almost sounds like Cordell could hear. So could Aaron not hear?
I don't know.
It's
Cordell, I think,
confusing.
just knew it was gonna look bad and was just nervous because he would not look
Well,
up.
okay, okay.
I think,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah. It's a little confusing, but keep going. Yeah. Cool. Aaron was being stupid. He did like a double take. He like
He
stepped
did.
inside and looked nervous and he turned around. And then yeah, he did the let's go thing and I was like, I'm so confused. It doesn't seem like he knows anything that's going on.
No, I think he just saw that Kaylor wasn't standing next to anyone, so he was like, great, she picked me. But
Mm-hmm.
alas, he Kaylor tells him, I got a video, so do you want to go first? And then Aaron's like, well, I'll talk to you after. I think I should talk to you after. And Ariana just
Mm-hmm.
goes, I got all the time in the world. It's like, period, Aaron, what do you think this is? Do you think you're standing up here to not speak? Like,
Yeah.
hello. And so Kaylor's like, I got a video. What do you think I saw? And he's like, well, I don't know what you saw. And she's like, well, what do you think I saw? And he's like, well, I don't know. So maybe you should tell me what you saw and we can go from there. And I'm like, it's
Mm.
because you've done so much. What she should have said was, did so much happen? You're not sure what I saw. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
options of what I could have saw.
Mm-hmm.
But Kaylor's young. She doesn't
Yeah.
get it.
She doesn't get it. It's okay. She did great.
She did. And she goes on her 18th monologue of the season to
Mm-hmm.
where she's like, I've been sleeping outside and I've been worried sick about you all this time and wanting to be with you. And I get sent a video where you're biting this girl's leg, flirting it up. And I hear Kendall go, oh, well, that's not Kaylor. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I was doing this whole time since I've been comparing myself to that other girl this whole time. And Kendall's just looking
Mm-hmm.
like, oh shit, fuck, what'd I do? And now why am I in
I'm
it?
like, how did I get credit to
Uh,
this? And then like Aaron's face is like beet red. And he's
mm-hmm,
just standing there like with his mouth open and you just see his two front teeth. He's just like I'm like, I don't remember you having buck teeth, but your resting face is not cute, Aaron.
no.
His face is just getting like more and more red, and you just see his teeth. I'm like, close your
Mm-hmm.
mouth, Aaron.
Right? Shut the fuck up, Aaron. Why your mouth open? You're not even saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just
It's
going
like,
off more, and she's just like, I saw you bite that girl and say you wanted to kiss her, but you didn't want to hurt someone. And then she turns to Kendall and she's like, it really hurt my feelings hearing you say that because you were supposed to be like a brother to me, and yada yada. And he's like, I'm sorry. And it's just
mm-hmm.
like, she's like, this isn't funny. My feelings are real. This isn't funny. This isn't a
Which is
joke.
valid.
It is.
Yeah.
And they weren't thinking like that in Casa. And so she's basically like, I'm single and like I completely am like hurt and blindsided by you essentially. And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
I think we should talk about it more later. And I'm
He
like,
doesn't even say sorry.
he
And I'm
doesn't.
like, Aaron, this is interesting because we've seen you be emotional for situations that make you sad, but like here, I don't see you acknowledging this girl's feelings at all. Not that
No.
you need to cry or anything, but like at least apologize. Like he's on the defensive as if he has something to defend himself with. The problem here is this moment is gray. We didn't see, like, Kaylor didn't see him kiss anybody, right? Like, it is
Hmm.
a little gray. I wish she would have said, like, you told me that you had feelings of love for me, and yet you're over here contemplating whether or not you're going to kiss somebody. You told me that you wanted to see my family and meet my family, and yet you're over here contemplating whether you want to kiss somebody. That's not something you do. I wish she would have said that because, like, later on, it almost looks like Aaron has the upper hand for a second because we didn't see anything. And I'm like, Aaron, you're wrong. Like,
Because we know
you
what you did and that you did a lot more,
right.
which movie night,
Movie night is coming out. If he doesn't tell
that's
this
probably
girl the
why they
truth,
didn't
it's gonna
show
come
it.
out. Yeah, because they want it to blow up more later, which makes sense. It's just like annoying. I kind of feel like
Hmm.
his ego is like letting himself be defended, which is so crazy because he seems so soft and emotional and compassionate in other instances, but not when it comes to the girl that he's been pursuing. Like,
But when it's his bros and his best mates.
mm-hmm.
Um, so he goes to sit down, but he sits right next to Kaylor, and Ariana goes, maybe swapsies. And then they switched, and she goes with Serena, JaNa, and Leah. And she's like, did I do okay? And they're like, you did great.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's still
No, she
red.
did great. Yeah.
She did. And
He looks
there's
annoyed.
he does. And there's plenty of opportunities for her to say more. I feel like she's gonna say more in tonight's episode, which I'm so excited for.
I'm so hype.
Um, but next up, Rob, the single guy. He walks
Mm-hmm.
out. They're all not quite sure who he's gonna walk out with, but then they see it's Daniela, and they're all very
Mm-hmm.
confused, except for Kaylor, who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't recognize that that was Daniela, and was just like, "Woo,
Yeah.
good for you, Rob."
I think Kaylor was relieved at first that Aaron didn't come with someone. And then for
Oh
the
yeah,
reality to hit that it was Daniela, she was like, oh, okay.
oh yeah, because when she saw Aaron didn't come with anyone, she looked so excited, like she wanted to cry, and like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, but still stood strong.
she
But
did.
then with a Rob coming back, she did not recognize that that was the girl. And she was, I think JaNa was like, no, that's the girl, like that Aaron was with.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, great. And so
Mm.
this was funny because Rob and Daniela go to Ariana, and Ariana's just like, hey, Rob, what's going on? What made you choose Daniela? How'd you build this connection?
For real. Not Rob, the only one with a solid answer.
I know, right? Well, it's the most rehearsed and made up. So he's just like, yeah, I liked her and I wanted to bring her back.
Yeah, he's like,
It's
we
like,
have good conversations. I like her point of view or something.
of what?
I wish it would have been like, well, she was with Aaron the whole time and we got to know each other near the end, so I decided to bring her back. Like, be
Honestly, he
real.
should have, because they
He
could have
should have.
maybe even finagled it to make it sound less messy and been like, she was with Aaron for a little, but then it fizzled and we kind of picked up and,
Mm-hmm.
want to explore it.
Mm-hmm.
They could have made it seem more like that, but they're not that smart.
Right.
So, and meanwhile, the girls are all like, why are they together? Like, what is
They're
happening?
like, well, when she was walking in, Janae was like, Aaron, why is Rob with Daniela? And Aaron's just sitting there, like looking around, looking mad. And I'm like, Aaron, you don't fucking answer their questions. Again,
Right.
you're acting like you have the upper hand. You're acting like, oh, you guys don't know the whole story. They basically do. They
I
put
mean,
two and two
Aaron,
together.
like, this isn't like a complicated, like, this isn't Dune. Like, we can put two and two together.
Right.
Like it's not that complicated.
Right.
But so Rob and Daniela sit down, and Janae is like, we saw a video of Daniela with Aaron. And he's like, oh, yeah, I figured that's what was going on. Because he was in Casa, so he knows they could potentially get a video. I
Yeah.
wonder, though, if he told Aaron beforehand or any. I'm sure he did.
I
But
mean, I feel like okay, just disclaimer to anybody out there. If you're about to go on a reality TV show, maybe watch the show. Like, you guys
Yeah.
should know what is could potentially happen.
At
Like,
least watch one season because I could see, maybe if you watched and they did a twist that you didn't see coming, but this is something that happened before.
right.
So,
Granted, last year with One Love Island, the movie night twist was so scandalous because Leo had sex with someone, which is kind of wild, right?
oh
So if
yeah.
that's the first time they did movie night, it was because it was just so crazy. Um,
I
I'm
think
gonna look
they've
it up
done
to
movie
see.
night. I don't know if they do it
Every
all the
time?
time in USA, but I think they've done it before in UK.
Got it.
Yeah,
So
because I've
I'm
heard
like,
some
this is
podcasts talking about it.
yeah, no, I'm looking and I'm seeing here it says Love Island USA season 3 movie night. Like,
Okay, yeah.
it
So
looks
they've been
like they
doing it. So
get
like even if they don't get sent a video while you're in Casa, there's a great chance they're gonna see it in movie night.
yeah.
So, and there's more to see with Aaron. And I
Yeah.
would say even with Cordell potentially. So we'll see how that is. Movie night's coming up. I'm so excited.
It is. It
Um,
is. I'm excited.
yes. And then this is where Nicole's like, we saw a video and Aaron tries to give her attitude, and it's just like, you
Yeah.
saw 1 minute, and she's like, of you saying you wanted to kiss somebody, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just like going off, like, Aaron, shut the fuck up. And so,
Yeah.
last but not least, our
Woo!
queen, our savior.
Oh
I,
wait, Brandon, what is your
yeah,
reaction during all of this? When Kaylor was giving Kendall the business, I was like, yeah,
I
Kendall.
was happy.
I was screaming at my
I was
TV.
very happy because I was like, I'm glad because I was worried at first. I was like, are they gonna call Kendall out? Because he had his sweet moment with Nicole, which made sense. But I'm like, are they gonna call him out? And I was happy she did. I literally, this recoupling was everything I wanted and more because Kaylor
Mm-hmm.
did everything we wanted her to. Could have probably said more, but still did great. It was
Mm-hmm.
mainly I would blame Aaron because he just wasn't speaking or owning
Mm-hmm.
anything. But then with the twist with JaNa, that was like shockingly messy. And so it was just amazing. And I will say I
Mm-hmm.
forgot to mention Liv, Ariana turns to Liv and it's just like, how do you feel about all this?
Oh
Like after the Kaylor
yeah.
and Aaron part. And Liv is like, I
Mm-hmm.
think Kayla's great and she deserves so
Mm-hmm.
much better than Aaron. Like she deserves the world and like saying all this. Kayla's crying
Mm-hmm.
more. And it's just like a
Mm-hmm.
good moment to really stick it to Aaron. Like, you really
Aaron's just
fucked up.
sitting there looking stupid, and it's like,
Hmm.
no, she deserves so much more. And he's just like, yep,
Yes.
yep. Sorry,
Uh,
I was trying to look it up. I can't confirm if they've done movie night other than season 5. So
I
maybe it is something new, and the guys just assumed, oh, because we're not
I
having
think
sex
they've
with
done it
someone, there's not
before,
gonna
if not USA,
yeah.
UK. But
Okay.
regardless,
So you should at least be familiar.
right. And should know that even if they don't see it in the villa, you're on TV. So they're
Right.
gonna see it at
That
some point.
part. That
like,
part.
like even let's say not now, they'll see it after.
All of
Uh,
your actions will come back to you.
they will. But last but not least, our Queen Serena. Now, they
Queen
did good
Serena.
because they didn't tease too much how this would go. I think in
Mm-mm.
the beginning they showed a slight moment with her, but they really didn't. We weren't sure. So Serena stands up and she's just like, I've been being bit by mosquitoes. I've been sleeping outside ever since Cordell left. I was like, I miss my man, all this. But it's very clear that the things he said to me before he left, he didn't mean, even though I meant
Mm-hmm.
it. He's been
Mm-hmm.
very disrespectful and distasteful with what he's been doing. And I'm just not going to stand for it. So I'm not picking anyone, but I'm staying single regardless of if he brings someone or not.
Mm-hmm.
And Kendall's just like, damn. And I'm like, yeah, Kendall, you were hyping him up, just like, oh, yeah, you should love this. You should love that you're making out with Dad. This is the best. I've never seen this. Now these are
Word
the
of advice.
repercussions.
Literally, word of advice. Don't take advice from Kendall. He doesn't
No,
know what the fuck is going on. He doesn't
none
know
of the
what
Love
right and
Island.
wrong is.
Well, I was gonna say none of the Love Island men, but Rob and Miguel were giving Aaron good advice. So I'm like, maybe they should have listened to them more.
Right?
But so we get to the part where we're gonna see Cordell and whether or not he picked Daya. I think we could have guessed he picks Daya.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a cute outfit on. Daya's cute. I'll
The
give her
way they
that.
did the camera angles, I was like, and
Oh,
it was her because you see Cordell first and then you see her, and I'm
yeah,
like,
she's like blocked by like a pillar. And
yeah.
he's looking down the whole time, just
Hmm.
like, and he's
She's
like,
like,
they're all
pick your
looking
head
at
up.
me. Yeah, she's acting like his mom. And I'm like, this is too much.
It
And
is.
it's funny because I think even beforehand, like with the other guys, the girls are just like, y'all had a time. Like, y'all did this.
Yeah.
Like, can't keep your hands to yourself, can ya? And like, just all this. And so when Cordell and Day are walking up, Janae is like, y'all are savages. Like, I can't.
Hmm.
And Nicole's like,
Hmm.
what the fuck? And she's next to Kendall. So I hope Kendall's picking up what Nicole's saying. Like, this is fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Serena's just laughing. They get up to it. And, Ariana's like, hi, Cordell. Hi, Daya. How are you? Cordell, Serena's single here. Like, how do you feel seeing her stand alone? And he's like, um, I don't feel that good. And Serena goes, speak up. And Leah's like, yeah, speak up. Say it with your whole chest, bitch.
The girls are immediately like, "What'd you say?
What?
Can't hear you."
And he's like, oh yeah, I don't feel good. And then Liv's like, that's it? He's like, that's it?
And
She's like, yeah.
he's like, "That's it." And then he just puts his head down, and I'm like, "Cordell, stand on business."
He can't. And
Mm-mm.
he's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like doing all this, like I feel like kind of like shitty. And then Serena's just like, not shitty enough when you were dry humping in the bed. Yeah, like that. You were feeling good there, right? Right. And the girls are just laughing, like dry humping. And she's like, oh yeah, I saw it. And
We
he's like,
got a
that
video.
didn't happen. That was taken out of context. And she's like, no, I saw the video.
Brandon, this boy said, "Nah, nah, that was taken out of context clues."
What?
I was like, Cordell, you are such a clown. So I went on TikTok and somebody said he said context clues. I was like, no, the fuck he didn't. I went back, go to 1 hour and 22 minutes, listen to the whole minute. Cordell says context clues, but they cut him off so you don't hear the clues. And I'm like, not context clues?
No, like y'all don't understand. Like when I was
We're
watching
really
Blue's
fooling with the bull.
Clues, there was no envelope when they got the mail that said it. So like they didn't find the right clue. Y'all know?
Cord- Cordell is acting like a little boy. And he
No,
kind of
he
is a little
is.
boy.
He is. And
I was like, not
she's
context clues. That told me all I needed to know. You don't even
right.
know what you're saying.
Exactly. And then Serena's just like, I've been getting eaten by mosquitoes, like I've been sleeping outside. And when you
Mm-hmm.
left, I was like, oh, I miss my man. But it's clear that it wasn't reciprocated and you didn't
Mm-hmm.
respect me. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what? It's all good because when you were in here in the villa, there was nobody else you were really interested in. So I knew once you got a little attention and got your petey whacker wet a little bit, you were going to love it and you were going to do good. So you know what? I'm glad you found someone, babe. I was like, oh,
Yeah. He tried to cut her off and she just kept going. He's like, no, no, no,
no.
I understand. And she just kept going. And I'm like, the bottom line is you had no consideration. And that is her
Right.
point.
It is. Because her thing is
And
like explore, like, test out relationships. If you like really find someone you're vibing with, that's great. But like be respectful and don't be doing all
mm-hmm.
that while I'm here crying over you. And we just had that
Mm-hmm.
moment beforehand and I just opened up to you and all
Mm-hmm.
this. And so he starts talking. I forget. He
Cause
just says like the same shit. Like, oh, I didn't mean to. Like, what?
Ariana asks him why he picked Daya, and he was like,
Hmm.
I chose Daya because and it's like he just kind of talked in a circle. And I was like, Cordell, what?
He
He
said
was
like,
like,
"Oh, I was trying to see if the feelings would be the same here and like still how it would be with Serena."
yeah,
And yeah.
that's
I'm like,
exactly what it was. And again, I'm like, Cordell, stand on business. If you're gonna do this, if you're gonna make this big splash, then like at least have a reason.
own
My
it. Be like, we had
gosh.
a good connection and I wasn't willing to let that go. And I was
Yeah.
disrespectful and I own that. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I shouldn't have been. I went about that wrong, but I stand by my decision with Dea because I feel like there's more to this that I could
Yeah.
explore. And like, I wasn't closed off to you, but I get it if you are because I did you dirty. But
Yeah.
he's
Like
not
that's what
mature
he could
enough for that.
say. He's not. And I also will kind of give him a little bit of grace because, like, there are 5 women up here who are, like, about to rip your neck
We'll give
off.
him a slight shred that it's intimidating.
I would be scared. I'm sure I would not. If I rehearsed something, I wouldn't, it would be out the window. And Cordell is not a guy who argues with girls, which I like.
He
He,
is
like,
not, which
just
is
let,
good.
he kind of folded. He was like, all right, okay, all
Hmm.
right, okay,
He
you
said,
know?
I'm not gonna, you're obligated to your feelings.
Yeah,
And
he's
it's
like,
like,
I'm not gonna disrespect your feelings. And she goes, yeah, you barely respected yourself. And I was like,
wait,
damn,
when
Serena. Yeah,
he
he said,
said, I never stopped thinking about you, and she's like, that's crazy that you were grabbing that thing thinking about me. That's beside me, but you know what? Do you, I guess. And I'm like, damn, and Dea even looked a little like,
yeah, that's embarrassing for her too. Shoot, they have you in a
she was
whole video
big
in
mad after
4K.
this, which I
Oh,
get,
she
but I'm
was.
like, what did you expect?
Right. Ariana asked her, like, oh, asked him, do you have anything else you want to say? And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. And yeah, that's what Serena flicked him off. She licked her finger and touched her ass. All the girls are just like cutting up, and Rob is rolling his eyes.
I
Aaron looks
can't.
annoyed.
Rob, oh my God. Daniela rolled her eyes once too, but Rob kept going. Like, Rob, shut the
Mm,
fuck up. And also, when they said the dry humping thing, he was like shaking his head, like, oh, that didn't happen. Sir, how would you know? They're not making it up. If
you
they
weren't
saw a
there.
video, they saw a video. They
This is what
know.
I want. Rob, say that. Say something instead of rolling your eyes. Say something to Serena. I dare you.
Maybe. Oh,
Say
because
something to
Serena would,
Serena.
it
Serena
wouldn't
will
end
cut
well.
your neck
But if
off,
you're
and you're
about
not
it, do
going
it.
to.
Do it.
Exactly. Exactly. Rob is just gonna sit there and roll his eyes. I'm like, okay, say it with your chest, then, Rob. Get up and say something. Defend your friend in this public forum instead of rolling your eyes. And I know damn sure that you're not gonna go up to Serena and be like, that wasn't right. I disagree with you. You're not gonna have a conversation. You're just gonna like roll your eyes in the background. So instead of doing all that, do nothing because you're not gonna stand on anything anyway.
No.
Serena's not the one or the two to fuck with.
No,
So
Serena, I've never been more proud because we've loved Serena since day one, and she really made some history tonight.
she ate his ass up,
She
all
did.
the way up.
It
And
was
he was just,
glorious.
yeah, he said he was sorry, but he's not going to disrespect how she feels. And that's when she was like, she says, you didn't respect anything else, barely yourself.
He's like, that's
That's
fine.
what she said.
But yeah. And she's like, and I don't want to hear what you have to say about anything else. I really couldn't give a fuck
And
because
we
I
could
don't
keep
deserve
moving
this.
on.
We can get on
Yeah.
with the move on. And I'm like,
And
yes.
she,
And then
they sit down.
yes. And at first, so Daya does this little like, and I thought it was to Serena, but then we saw Daniela had waved and said, love you, girl. And she was like saying it back. And I was like, okay, good. Because
Um,
I thought you were being like, because
yeah,
say what you
it's
will, Serena wasn't talking to you. She could have
no,
directed some energy to you. None of the
she
girls
could
were
have.
really directing the energy to the girls, but I get them
No,
feeling uncomfortable because it's
yeah.
like, yeah. But they weren't at least being
Um,
outwardly rude to them. And
yeah,
so basically, Ariana's just like, that was the recoupling. Like,
that's
it
all.
is what it is. That's all for now. I'll see y'all soon.
Bye. And Nicole is like, it's gonna be so
Yes.
crazy now. And Kendall's like, oh my God. They are the only two couple. They are the only couple, the only two people that stayed together was Nicole and Kendall. Everybody else
Yes.
is all over that place. Somebody said, I think Nicole said, like, damn, this it's
There's a lot
packed
of
in
bodies
here.
in this bitch. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I love Nicole.
Cause cause now you have, I think, 6 couples, one single guy, and 4 single girls.
Yeah. It's like, that's why
So
I'm
that's
glad this next, like, elimination is going to be based off a vote because I really hope, I
yeah.
think it's an effort to save, like, the girls because
I hope so.
they're well liked. They're the
I mean,
OGs, and they were done dirty by these idiots. Like, we should save
I,
them.
I agree, but if one of them goes home, I think it's even more like it'll just make the guys feel even worse. Like if Kaylor goes home, okay, Aaron, that's fine. You stay in the villa and feel like a dick.
True.
If Serena goes home, okay, Cordell, that's literally on you. You
Yeah.
like this is part of the repercussions of your actions. Have fun here with Daya after you just did all of that. But no,
Yeah.
I didn't count it right. How many guys are there? It's Rob, Aaron. No, it's who's are the guys that are coupled up? Rob.
So Cordell's with Daya, Rob's with
Mm-hmm.
Daniela, Kendall's with Nicole. Hi, balloons. Kane with Liv.
Live. Okay.
Kenny's with Catherine.
Mm-hmm. That's
And then
five of them.
that's five, and I don't think
Couples.
that's five couples. And then
I don't
there's
think we're missing
Aaron
any.
by himself.
Mm-hmm. And then the four girls by themselves.
Yeah, so JaNa, Serena, damn, Kaylor, Leah by themselves, Liz with Kane, Nicole's with Kendall, and then Catherine, Daniela, and Dea
Are
are
there
with.
15 people in the house? There's an odd number because five are single. So yeah, I think that's 15 people.
There's
There's five
too
couples
many
and five
people, which is why
singles.
Ariana said there's gonna be a bloodbath. So we'll see how it gets divvied out.
I hope oh well, we would have voted already, so it's probably not gonna happen for a couple days.
Yeah, oh yeah, probably not. Wouldn't be surprised if after tonight's or something, and maybe it's revealed by because usually they reveal the vote on a Friday. Well,
Yeah.
they did it once on a Monday, but they started the vote on Friday, so we'll see. But I do wonder if maybe they'll keep some singles, but maybe not because there's so many people. Because I think last season they
That's
kept some singles. Because I
what.
heard Bergie on a podcast from last
Oh,
season,
really?
and he said he was single like for a long time up until Casa Amor. So I'm
Okay,
like,
that's good
maybe
because
it
they always make it.
depends.
Yeah, because they always make it seem like it's bad if you're single and you're at risk or whatever. But I don't. There's so many single people. It's a little rough right now.
Yeah, it was funny though when they all sit. Leah at the end is just like, y'all did your big one out there. Like, y'all had a time.
They started saying that after Kenny like picked, and I was like, but Kenny like low key didn't have a time.
He didn't. Like, he kind
He's
of
the
just
only
like,
innocent one.
he's the innocent one who did something wrong. Like,
Uh,
that
yeah,
was
so
funny.
there's a preview for tonight's episode. Today's Sunday. There's a
Mhm.
preview for Sunday's episode. We see Serena yelling at Cordell. We see Kaylor just kind of like arguing, but I don't, you
I
know,
think she
Aaron's
does
just like,
yell at Aaron at some point, but she also
okay.
talks to Daniela.
She does talk to Daniela.
And then they're like,
Um,
Daya's like, did you lie to her? And they
which
didn't
I'm
show her
like,
answer. And I'm like, why would she lie? I hope she didn't lie. Like,
so it's really gonna be like Casa Girls versus Villa Girls.
yeah.
Um,
Serena's like, I'm not talking to those hoes. I'm like, ooh.
oh no. I'm talking about the preview that was part of the episode 22.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about there was an extended first look.
We'll talk about that next.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
only other thing,
the preview I think was just what you said. Yeah, they didn't show too much. And JaNa and
and then
Kenny.
Kenny was yeah, Janae was like, you didn't make a choice, so I'm gonna make it for you. And I was like, fuck,
I know.
poor
And
boy.
then Kenny
And then
cries. He's like,
yeah, he
and then
said she's
Serena and Leah
leaving.
are like, Kenny. I think they know. They're like, oh, Kenny, like you just did something stupid. Just make it up to her. It'll be okay.
Yeah, and then also the whole she's leaving, like that's interesting. Like, did Janae pack her bags?
Well, she probably threatened to leave again, so he probably thinks it's true.
I
Um,
look I the only guy I feel bad for is Kenny, only because it's like it really was a moment of indecision. I don't think it was personal. He didn't really do anything against her. It wasn't like he knew full well that she loved him and was just out there thotting and bopping like the other
yeah.
boys. But
Well, based off the
Janae eats him up.
Aftersun, she does. But on the Aftersun, Sydney says that apparently it was a triangle between her, Kenny, and Catherine. And she's like, I was surprised he chose Catherine because everything he was saying to Catherine, he was saying to me, like about goals and all that. And I'm like, yeah, when people go on an interview, they usually, which is how he treated these conversations, they usually ask all the same basic questions.
Yeah, you act like
So,
he was saying that, like, oh,
like,
my long-term goals are to talk to you this way and do this. He was just asking you what your long-term goals are. I don't think that's
he
wrong to
didn't pull
ask.
a map from Love is Blind where he's like,
No.
we'll find our way out of here if there's a map, like all
Ah, if I
this.
could go pick you up, I would right now. I'm gonna call your dad. Like,
Yeah,
no, he
like
didn't
he
do
didn't
all
do that. It
that.
was very basic conversation things
Yeah,
that I
it's
was
funny
like,
how we could just see through Sydney's BS. Don't listen to that girl on
I
Aftersun. That
don't.
one, don't listen to her.
No,
The other things she said were probably valid, but not that. I didn't agree with
no.
that.
Before we just get a little into After Sun, do you have any predictions? Like, do you think like Kaylor and Aaron are gonna get back together?
Oh, 100%.
I know.
100%.
I feel kind of
100%.
bad, but yeah, they
No,
are.
look,
But
it
I
is what
see
it is.
they are, but I movie night is gonna create more drama. And maybe
Yeah.
we'll end it for good. We'll see, but
I don't think he's going to be completely forthcoming. It looks like he's doubling down a little bit. I don't think it's going to be
yeah,
an easy ride for them, but I do think
no.
they're going to make their way back to each other. I
Hmm.
think that Serena is definitely done with Cordell. I don't think there's any going back, and I think that Serena might go home because unless they bring it. Oh,
Well,
they
because
did talk
Serene,
about
oh,
some
no, what was that?
bombshells on Aftersun.
Oh yeah, they did, which I don't like who they're bringing. I think it's like random and stupid, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I think Cordell's gonna try to win Serena back.
Really?
I think he makes in the extended first look, he makes breakfast for
Yeah, let's talk
Daya
about the
and
extended first look.
Serena.
Okay,
And
yes.
it just seems like because we see Daya cry saying her feelings don't mean anything or whatever.
Bitch. Should have thought about that before you were bouncing on his
Before you
dick.
offered him CarMax. And but we just see in all the previews, even the first look, it's like Cordell's kind of chasing Serena. Like, I think he's gonna try to like, I don't know if get back together, but he's gonna try to make it right. He's gonna try something.
Serena's not gonna be. He's gonna try. Yes, I
Yes,
agree that
I
he
don't
will
think she's
try.
going to. I think she's gonna let him have it. She'll probably cry. She'll do all this, but
I don't think that. I don't know if he's trying to win her back or he's just trying to not feel bad anymore. I think he wants forgiveness. I don't know if he wants a relationship, but maybe he does because they were
we'll
very
see.
good
Yeah.
friends.
That's the thing.
We
I'm
will
like,
see.
maybe when they get back, I probably remember, like, it was more than just physical with Serena. Like, it
Yeah.
was actually like real and rooted in friendship.
Yeah.
But
Because in the extended clip, we see a scene of them on the dock and
mhm.
she's like yelling at him. She starts to cry and she walks away. And he's like, Serena. He tries to follow her. And then, but they're in different clothes. So I don't think it's like the night after all of this is
No, it seems to be
happening.
like the next night or something.
Daya cries a little more in that one. Then they ask, oh, did you lie? Or Daya
Yeah.
asks Daniela if she lied. So that's for them. For Aaron and Kaylor, that's why I feel like he's not gonna be completely forthcoming because it seems like she's not clear on what exactly happened and she asked Daniela what happened.
Yes, and but I'm also like, yeah, you didn't see him kiss, but you see Kendall reacting to them kissing. So like, let's
Yeah.
2 + 2 equals they kissed. So like, just know they
Right.
kissed. And if he couldn't tell you what you saw, that means more happened that you could have seen.
Right.
So gotta put that together.
You
I
have
do
to put
think
that
Liv is gonna
together.
ride for them all.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Um,
I would want Kendall to make it up to Kaylor and tell her the truth because who is Serena talking to when
she's talking to Aaron. Aaron's kind of cuddling with her because they kind of have like a brother sister relationship, I think.
yeah.
So he's trying to tell her like to talk to them. She's crying. I do think she does sit down with Daya. I
Yeah,
don't
I think so too.
because she's walking away and she's like, I'm about to swing. And I'm like, is this about Cordell or is this about Daya? Or is it about
Oh.
both?
Or was it movie night? I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah, there's a moment who told Serena to go talk to the girls.
I think it was Aaron. And then she's
And
like, I'm
so
not talking to those hoes.
and then there's another moment where Aaron is like, I wish everything could go back to how it was, and Serena is crying. And I'm like, Aaron, not
Y'all
you
did this.
making a mess and being like, I wish I could take it back.
Do you?
That's some shit.
Mm.
We don't really see anybody else. They just kind of show us clips of the aftermath.
Yeah,
So we'll
just
see.
small bits, but it looks explosive and I'm very excited.
I'm super excited.
But the After Sun it was decent. They randomly had Johnny Bananas for
I
some
don't know
reason.
why. Isn't he married?
No.
Oh, because I was like, why do you want to go on Love Island games? I thought you were married.
No, he's just like it's so funny too because they kept asking him about traders and he was literally there for like an episode.
Yeah, he
Like
was like, I was only there for 72 hours.
it's like yeah, so like shut up. And then like it's just literally because it was him,
He's
Selly.
married, Brandon.
Johnny Bananas is not married.
Are bananas in um let me see how long it lasted. He was married.
I don't think he was ever married.
Oh, well,
He is
many fans thought they were a
notorious.
good fit.
He's notorious for cheating, which is why it's funny how he's the
Oh.
one defending Cordell and Aaron. He's like, listen, Serena was taking long with Cordell. And they're just like, yeah, because she was taking her time and she was guarded. And this is why.
Yeah,
Uh,
look, they broke up in 2021 after Max admitted to cheating on her. Oh no, this is somebody else. I
who
don't
are
know
you
why she
looking
broke up
up?
with him. I'm looking
Who?
up Johnny Bananas,
He was with this girl.
Mariah,
Oh, that was
and
messy.
he was, and then she dated someone named Max later.
Yes, because she slept with someone in the challenge while he was not on it. But he was in House of Villains, kind of flirty with someone else, and they weren't like official. But he was also dating this
Interesting.
one girl for a few years from Ex on the Beach, and he
Mm.
like cheated on her in a massive way. Like she's come forward about that. He was also cheating on his other partner, like long term with Nani on the challenge.
Damn.
He's a notorious cheater.
Nani, who's with what's her name?
Casey. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So when
Interesting.
he's
Okay.
defending Cordell and all this, it's just like, okay,
I
anyways.
don't know if we should listen to him, if he's the
No,
best person to be giving advice to people.
no. But essentially from the Aftersun, Ariana came on per usual and she gave a lot of her thoughts. She was saying that when she told the girls that the guys were in Casa Amor, she hung out with them for a lot longer than was shown. And she said that by the end of it, Kaylor seemed like, okay, she's open to this. But as we know, that kind of changed. And she honestly didn't think that Kaylor had anything to worry about when it came to Aaron. So we were all a little
Yeah.
surprised because I don't think a lot of us were like, I don't, maybe he'll flirt, but like,
We were all rooting for you, Aaron. We were
yes,
all rooting for you.
yes. But Ariane does make the point that Casa Amor gives answers and it puts them in these situations and it lets you know how this person would be. So she hopes Kaylor will stick to her guns, but thinks she's gonna fold. Um, which we all kind of do, which sucks, but you know.
Yeah.
But didn't like that Aaron was tried to sit by her during the recoupling, and that's why she told them to swap.
Yeah. She
Um,
clocked that quickly.
she did. But she loves how strong the girls are, thinks Liv is incredible,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately that Liv chose King because she had to choose someone, which duh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But she does wish George would have made it into the villa, which we didn't see much of George, but the little bit we saw, he seemed nice.
Yeah, he did seem nice. I
Mhm.
think he's the one who made Kaylor breakfast.
Yes, you're right. He was the one.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sweet
That was
about it.
sweet. Mm-hmm. And I
Um,
think he was kissing Nicole a little bit.
I think so, like during a game.
Yeah. It was they really did not give these boys any
They
airtime.
didn't, which she's not happy with Cordell and was rooting
Mm-hmm.
for him and Serena because she was finally letting her guard down. Which
Mm-hmm.
on the last Aftersun, she wanted Cordell to like move on. I think it was right after like the dancing game, which a lot of us were
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, like poor Cordell. But then when she
Yeah.
saw that Serena was finally opening up, she was like,
Yeah.
oh, like maybe he'll be respectful at least, which he wasn't. But does say that ultimately he's sweet, but he's just too immature.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really what it is.
Um,
Because the thing that you can't deny is they did have a connection. Yes, it took time. There were a few bumpy roads, but the bumpy roads weren't like Rob and Leah bumpy roads. It was like small misunderstandings and then
yeah,
like some confusion of feelings. Like, oh, I don't know if I like you or not. And it took time. They grew a friendship and then they really started to like each other. So like
yeah,
I feel like they were definitely a couple people could root for.
I agree. And it was just like, I don't know. Him and Dea, it was just like it's like what we said before. It's all just like physical and like they're so harping on that and like almost shaming Serena for not being as
Yeah, for
physical
not
so
yeah,
quickly.
because what does Johnny say? Johnny was like, "Oh, she didn't like him until like it was too late and stuff." And the people were defending her like, "No, like she took her time, which is fine to do.
Yeah.
You can take your time." I think Cordell in his young age confuses like quickness with like a deeper connection, and I don't think that's true. Like
Yeah.
they haven't shown his friendship with Dea, so I don't know what that's like, but
Yeah.
him and Serena like vibe so well, like they were friends,
Yeah. It was deeper.
much
But
deeper.
now he lost it. But she does, Ariana, defend the Casa girls and saying that she hates when the guys bring back the girls and act sheepish about the decision. Which true, because like, look,
100%.
Daya has her faults. Daniela, I think, was a little shady. But, at the end of the day, they were like the Casa girls. And it's kind of like they're put in a situation where they're like giving guys that are like talking to other girls.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unfair. And for the guys to kind of bring them and like not really own it, it makes them feel even worse.
It does. It looks bad. And it's not like you're not putting that girl, both girl, you're like doing a disservice to both women. You're not
Yes.
like protecting or caring for either person in that situation. Or at least warn them. Daya, Serena, and I had a really good thing. I know she's gonna be upset. I stand behind my choice. This is what at
Yeah.
least do that. But they don't even obviously Daya's crying. So we know that Cordell isn't taking care of her or her feelings at all.
Mm-hmm. But then Ariana teases that movie night is coming up and that it's gonna be a bloodbath and a fan vote will send people home.
Exciting,
Yes.
exciting. And then she says something else.
What she
Oh
say?
no, she said movie night is coming and then a vote is coming.
Oh
That was
yeah, yeah.
it.
I think
Okay.
so. Maybe she did. But she leaves. And then we get Ignacio, Destiny, and Sydney, which
Mm-hmm.
okay. But like we said, Sydney had said she was caught off guard that Rob picked Daniela, and they could hear Kaylor saying "fuck you, Aaron," and that's when he decided to back off. Destiny
Mm-hmm.
says she would have gave more guys a chance, maybe Kendall, but they do acknowledge that Kendall seemed very much like liking Nicole, like he was
Mm-hmm.
respectful, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sydney does try to defend Kendall though, and says that he wasn't trying to egg the guys on, just Cordell. And it's like, sweetie, we saw him egg on Aaron from a distance. Like we saw it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're
Yeah.
saying. And basically, she was going off like, him and Daya have a real connection. And from the outside looking in, it seemed like Serena didn't really like him and da 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 da. It's like that's why you're on the outside looking in and you're not in it. So maybe don't make assumptions like that, Miss
Go
Kitty
back and
Party
watch, girl.
Red Box to be Sydney Sweeney.
My major point of evidence for this is Cordell leaving the villa saying we are going to sleep outside. Why would you sleep outside if you didn't have a legitimate connection with the girl? So,
Hmm.
and yeah, I'm curious about something else, but what else did we have from Aftersun?
Just basically the thing Sydney said about the triangle with Catherine and Kenny, and
Mm-hmm.
then the two bombshells that we're gonna be getting.
Oh, yes. So the first one, I don't know him. Maybe we
No,
could read
they're
about him.
returning people. The first one's this guy Harrison, and he seems relatively uninteresting. And he's interested in Nicole and Catherine. And I'm like, okay, cool.
I was like, that's good for Catherine because
It is. I'm like, maybe she'll find
um
somebody, because poor girl. Um,
oh, okay. Look, it looks like Harrison entered the villa on day 4, was dumped from the island on day 15.
oh damn.
He was coupled with someone. Okay, so they're kind of giving him a chance. He didn't have a whole lot. He was coupled with someone named Destiny, someone named Emily. There's not a whole lot on Harrison, but the
Okay.
on After Sun, they were really trying to highlight how attractive he was, and I was like, I guess not y'all sexualizing the man, telling him to take his shirt off.
Um, different strokes for different folks.
But
Um,
Cassie, I know Cassie.
yes, the next bombshell is Cassie, who is
Mm-hmm.
from last season,
Mm-hmm.
and she was Leo's ex, who has made an appearance on
Mm-hmm.
Aftersun. And she was the one where Leo cheated on her or slept with the girl in Casa Amor, and she's like, I saw you sleep with her, and that's disgusting. And
Yeah.
she's cute, but
She is. I like her. She was very like the girls really stuck together last season. Cassie was like very supportive of them. She is a little messy. Like early on, something happened with her and Leo, and she tried to jump to another guy, but like it was kind of weird. And then at one point, she even tries to like pursue a girl.
oh
There was a
damn.
girl named was her name Catherine? I think the girl's name was Catherine. So she tries to couple up with them too. So, I mean, granted, I didn't see all of season five, but from what I did see, I kind of watched the beginning and then I watched kind of like after Casa Amor a couple of episodes. And I liked Cassie, but she does end up going back with Leo, so she kind of reminds me of Leah in the sense that like someone's toxic, but they, everybody deserves a second chance. They were ended up being the runner-ups, which
Oh
is
yeah,
crazy. So that
that
kind of
is.
also shows that like we could end up, Aaron and Kaylor could end up winning this whole thing.
I hope not. But she
Um,
says that because I think Mara was just like, what guys do you think seem open? And she's like, all the guys? And I'm like, that was kind of funny because true.
yeah,
But she likes Kendall, Miguel, and Rob. And she likes Rob because there's history from Casa Amor last season. I'm like, okay, I could kind of see that. That's kind of nice, like having that
yeah,
history. I didn't like though. She was like, when it comes to the girls, like I'm not really here for them, like I'm here for me. And I'm like,
yep.
that's cute and all, but I like my girls and my OG girls, so don't fuck with them. Okay, Cassie? Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The girl's name was Anna. But yeah, it's funny. I'm like looking up Cassie online and someone goes, Cassie is not a girl's girl and has never been and never
Oh
will
shit.
be. So some people got some things against Cassie. I don't have the full story on Cassie.
We'll
But
see.
yeah, I mean, she doesn't have any loyalty, so it might make being messy a little easier.
It
We
might.
will see.
So we'll see. I don't know. Like bringing these bombshells, they just seem random.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe it'll cause good drama. We'll see. Love Island, it
Yeah.
keeps getting better and better. So hopefully it just doesn't take like, because some shows they like throw a random twist or something and it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
that doesn't
Sometimes
happen.
me too, because it's kind of a lot. But I was gonna ask you, what are some things that you're hoping are shown on movie night other than the obvious?
Ooh.
Because what I was thinking was it would be great for the girls to see the boys making their decisions to go to Casa Amor because they could
Ooh,
hear them saying like, "Ooh, we're gonna sleep outside, right? Yeah, 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 we're gonna sleep outside."
that would be
I
good.
I want them to see that.
When you said that, I thought at first you meant their decisions on what girl to bring back, like some behind the scenes, like, yeah, I want to bring back this girl because, which
Oh
that could
yeah.
be messy too. But you're
It could
right.
be.
They should show that.
The only thing is from last year's movie night, they didn't show any confessionals. It was
Okay.
just clips from people in the villas.
All right. I think they'll definitely show more of Aaron and Daniela.
Yeah.
I think they'll show maybe more of Cordell and Daya because
Yeah.
there's probably a little more to show. I think
Yeah.
maybe they'll show Serena's hesitations towards Cordell at first,
Mm-hmm.
maybe to affirm some things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe some things Nicole said about Kendall when
Well,
she
this
was
is
pissed.
only what happens during
Oh,
Casa do
only
they
during
show
Casa?
on.
Okay. So with
Mm-hmm.
that, then, oh yeah, then definitely all that. And because, like, I don't know what else they would show, I guess.
Yeah, I think definitely the girls' reactions, like to the video and stuff, and
Oh, yes, that.
even the
Okay.
girls, even before the video, the girls like waiting to find
Crying,
out.
Serena
Oof.
telling Liv she doesn't want to feel dumb. Definitely
Mm-hmm.
that. Definitely Kaylor freaking out. They can do a montage.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe even some of the things the Casa boys said, like, oh man, like look, we're all alone. Like they're all the way over there. Like they're not giving us
yeah.
the time of day kind of thing.
They might show some Janae with Jacoby and Josiah just
Yeah.
'cause.
Yeah.
But
It should
yeah,
be interesting.
yeah, I think
I
that's
hope they
it.
find a way to at least show the Casa decision making and then Aaron being messy, Cordell being messy, and Kaylor and Serena's reactions. Those are a must.
Yes.
The way it happened last year was they played a game. The boys were on one couch, the girls were on the other couch. They did trivia essentially, like how many guys have cheated or something, and you have to pick a number. And whoever got the question right got to pick from a series of clips, and the clips had descriptions. So it wasn't like
Oh,
movie night is just sit down and we watch a movie. Like they had a strategic way of making the cast pick which scenes they would watch. So
Okay.
like one of it was Mean Girls, and it was like a clip of some of the girls like talking shit about each other.
Yeah.
Like one of, and then obviously the other ones that we already know of.
Yeah.
So it's a little messy. I'm like, please. If I know they're gonna have to show the big ones, like if even if they make it like a post credit scene or something, but
Yeah.
I think those things are important. Maybe even the guys being stupid and like jumping in the pool and trying to show off for the girls.
Oh yeah. Probably more of Kendall egging the guys on
Yes.
and Cordell. Kendall with Cordell.
It might be like Kendall's thoughts or something.
Maybe
Yeah,
they'll show Rob
definitely.
telling Aaron, don't embarrass Kaylor. Maybe something good like that
Oh,
to make Kaylor feel a
yeah.
little better. Throw her a bone.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I think they may even show, oh fuck, I was thinking of it and it left my head.
Uh, but we'll
I don't remember.
see.
Oh, the
Oh,
games, like some clips from the games they played.
oh, true. Like all the kissing games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
So we'll
be.
see. I'm excited for movie night.
Yeah, like the
I
Aaron
have a
and
feeling
Daniela
it's not
shower scene.
what?
The Aaron and Daniela shower scene, remember?
They got in the shower?
Well, like in the game.
Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, he took
They
a
didn't go
shower with
that far.
her.
At least they didn't show it. I don't think they went that
Yes,
far.
during the game. Yes, yes, yes. You scared
Yes.
me. I was like,
Oh
he
no.
did what?
No,
Hey, there
not that
might
we
even
know
be
of,
some,
at least.
right. There might even be some stuff that we didn't see that they're gonna see for the first time. Who knows?
Right.
I'm excited. I
Uh,
hope movie night comes sooner rather than later. I have a feeling it's not gonna come until after Wednesday.
Probably not, which sucks,
They
but
like to leave us hanging.
I'm excited for tonight's episode and I'm
Me
ready
too.
to watch it.
Me
I'm
too.
like, we
Me
gotta
too. Me
go.
too. We
Uh,
gotta get out of here.
but with that being said, thank y'all so much. We will be
Thanks.
back next time talking about episodes. What are they? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. And
Mm-hmm.
it'll be all the aftermath of this iconic recoupling. So we
Mm-hmm.
cannot wait to talk about it. Thank y'all so much for listening and watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to rate and review us. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and
Mm-hmm.
Spotify. Help
Mm-hmm.
us out. And subscribe
Leave
to
a
our YouTube channel.
comment.
Yeah, leave a comment. We got some comments on some YouTube and like TikTok and all that, and we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
respond. We love the engagement. So
Mm-hmm.
we're on YouTube on the Shade of It All podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Shade of It All podcast. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.